seat. So just bear with us, they're on their way. Roll call, please.
Mr. Banta? Mr. Barbarulo?
Here.
Mrs. Franco? Mr. Klein?
Present.
Mrs. Fiala?
Here.
Mr. Rosenberg?
Here.
Mr. Snell?
Present.
Mrs. Wallace?
Here.
Ms. Carpenter?
Here. Please join me for the flag salute.
With liberty and justice for all.
The New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of the public bodies at which business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provision of this act, the Fair Lawn Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof distributed to the persons on the approved list, posted in the Board of Education administrative office, and sent to the Bergen Record and the Community News. The announcement for the regular monthly meeting, along with the date, place, and time thereof, was distributed on May 14, 2015. The items to be discussed during closed work session of May 21st, 2015 may include personnel matters, student matters, legal matters, negotiations and/or grievances, tactics and techniques utilized in protecting public safety and property. The results of these discussions will be made public as soon as possible. May I have an approval for the minutes of the regular monthly meeting of April 16th, the executive closed session of April 16th, the budget approval meeting of April 30th, the executive closed session of April 30th, the board retreat on May 2nd, and the work session on May 11th.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're going to, the first item on the agenda is the Certificate of Achievement Honors Music Ensemble presentation.
Okay, thank you. We will get back to the rest of it. We're going to ask our music teacher, Ms. Ali Cavano, to come on up, and she's going to make some presentations in front of the board to some very special students. George, you helping?
I'm part of the presenting.
Oh, you are? Great. Great.
How are you?
Oh, the whole music. I didn't know you were all coming.
We're all here. Thank
Okay.
you so much.
Before we start, I'd like everybody to meet our music staff, so George, if you would, please start. Just introduce yourself, what school you're at, so we go through everybody, so people
Sure.
know.
My name is George Block, and I'm the vocal music teacher at Memorial Middle School.
I'm the vocal music director at Thomas Jefferson Middle School and just recently at Fairlawn High School.
Hello everybody, I'm Susan Gordon. I teach vocal music and general music at Warren Point and also instrumental string music at Warren Point. Additionally, I teach at the Edison School.
My name is Daniel Burbank, and I teach band at Thomas Jefferson Middle School and Milnes Elementary School.
I'm Christine Nightel. I teach band and vocal general music at Forest and band at Lane Crest School.
I'm Ala Basis. I teach in 3 elementary schools, Radburn, Milnes, and Westmoreland, and Thomas Jefferson Middle School.
And I'm superintendent. I'm very happy to have them. I am so pleased to have them tonight. They surprised me. Ali had requested to do this, and I didn't know they were all coming, but I'm very happy they're here. And I'm going to turn it, Ali, I'll turn it over to you folks, and you take over.
Sure. Tonight we wanted to honor a group of musicians from the Fairlawn Music Department. These students prepared auditions and were selected to participate in many of the honors music ensembles throughout the state of New Jersey, including the 5th and 6th grade Bergen County Treble Choir, Bergen County Middle School Band and Chorus, Bergen County High School Band, Bergen County 6th grade Band Festival, the Region 1 Junior High Chorus, Region 1 High School Chorus, Region 1 Junior High Jazz Band and Symphonic Band, Region 1 Junior High School Orchestra, the New Jersey All-State Chorus, NJSMA Intermediate All-State Orchestra, and the NJSMA Elementary Honors Orchestra. So we're just going to call up our students one at a time so that you can see these wonderful people and we can recognize them for all of their hard work. They go above and beyond. These are after-school evening rehearsals, and parents, we thank you as well for getting them there and for supporting. No. So Mr. Avedon couldn't be here and Ms. Mander couldn't be here this evening, but we're going to still recognize their students.
Okay, so
I guess we'll call them up.
oh, should I go?
Yes, please do.
Yep. Okay, I'll be reading for the Fairlawn High School band students for Mr. Avedon. First, we have Daniel Israelson. And then we have Joseph Solomon. Oh, he has the other one. Okay. Yep.
I'm going to read for Thomas Jefferson Middle School and the high school all together. Shaked Lodom could not be here tonight. He's in Israel. Ariel Wilk. Maya Belinsky. Nathan Tang also is not here this evening. He's playing in a playoff basketball game. Jaden Perez. Ashley Briscala. Matt Sterling. Zoe Polyakov. Maggie Winnick. Alexandra Jonides. And my two high school students, Sophie Chorlian. And Bridget Moresca.
I'm going to issue those awards to students of Ms. Mander and a few of my students. The following students is getting their awards for acceptance and participation in Region 1 Elementary Honor Orchestra. Michaela Johnson, Jenny Cirillo, Jessica Coco, Sandra Almusali, Rebecca Chernovsky, and Landon Wan in recognition for her acceptance and participation in Bergen County Middle School Chorus as a cello soloist. Thank you very much for all your success. Rebecca?
Okay, next I'll be reading from the TJ Middle School band students. I'll start with students who are part of the 6th grade county band, and I have Mitchell Leneski come up. Daniel Choi. Barry Walker. Sydney Antonoff. Max Antonon. Finally, we have one student who was a member of 3 honors ensembles. He was a part of the Bergen County Middle School Band, the Region 1 Middle School Symphonic Band, and also the Region 1 Middle School Jazz Band. So I'd like to recognize Stephen Huffman. Great job, guys.
Wait, over there. There's a website.
Before I read the names of the memorial students who participated, I wanted to thank the superintendent, the assistant superintendent, the board, Lisa, Joanne, all the people who supported all the rehearsals that I've hosted at Memorial School. Because the regional chorus, the Bergen County Treble Chorus, the Bergen County 7th and 8th grade chorus, were all hosted at Memorial Middle School, and I've been doing that for, I don't know, probably close to 15 years, and I always get great support, so thank you. The following students were part of the Bergen County 5th and 6th grade treble chorus, and Emily Doucette, Hillary Abarca, Emma Steinhardt, Michaela Johnson, Alexa Williamson, Madison Cedarholm, the following students were part of the Junior High Region 1 chorus: Mahi Paswarkar, Lindsay Ruggiero. I think I saw Lindsay downstairs with the color guard, so did she just come in? Oh, okay, great. Lindsay? Lindsay Ruggiero. Emily Doucette. Emily, why don't you come on up? Amirta Ramesh. And then we had 2 students who were part of both the Bergen County Middle School Chorus and the Junior High Region 1 Chorus. Anissa Osbeck. And Daniel Ketter. We want to get everybody here for the group photo later? That's the idea? So we come on over here, folks. We're going to get...
All right, everyone.
We'll go in the middle.
I'll be hidden.
I don't know, it's such a wonderful turnout. I didn't see any of my students. I don't know whether they're here yet, or whether they're in transit, or whether they're home practicing, or in concert. Nevertheless, the following students represented Warren Point at the first annual Music Educators of Bergen County's Treble Choir. The following students are from Warren Point: Kayla Rano, Emily Hensley, Sarah Patel, Teishi Nayakamara, Caitlin Cahill, and Haley Buskowitz. Thank you.
I am actually a product of the Fairlawn Music Department. I was graduated really from here.
But I'm so grateful to be teaching here and to know that the legacy of the music program in Fair Lawn still lives on all these years later. Thank you so much. From Forest School, I had 6 participants in the Bergen County Treble Chorus, and they would be Luciana Di Gennaro, Stephen Van Heens, Elizabeth Moore, you can make your way through. I'm sure they'll wish. Benjamin Levin, Elena Hoffman, and Timothy Pavlenko. Thank you very much. You guys were awesome. Stay here. All stay here. Stay here.
Can we have the older students come and stand in the back? I'm like the oldest. And I know we had some parents who wanted to take a photo. So if we have
Get a photo.
Mom, we got a photo out here. Bridget, Sophie,
Sophie, Stefan. Go like this, put your hands bent down. This row. There we go. All touch.
Yeah, you're gonna have to.
Everybody take a step towards the middle and
You're in
squish.
chorus. Everybody turn.
And angle in. Angle in. Wind up.
John, bring it low.
Can't make any pressure. And bend down and take them back so we can see them.
Okay, ready? Over here. 1, 2, 3. We're gonna do another. 1, 2, 3.
That's good. Thank you guys. Congratulations.
Before anybody leaves, hello, can I have your attention? Can I have everybody's attention? Okay, before you leave, a couple of things. First of all, students, from everybody sitting up front here, congratulations. Parents, extended family, congratulations to you as well. You know what's so great is that these students not only make their parents and family members proud, but they make all of us proud because they represent the Fair Lawn Schools. And we're very proud they carry that with them. It's a badge wherever we go. Adults, students, you carry the badge with you. you are a member and part of the Fair Lawn school system. We're very proud of you. Now, a couple of things. I have remarks later on, you'll probably be gone. I want to bring one remark forward. Just the other night, we had the celebration of the World Language Honor Society inductees. There were 3 languages, Spanish, French, and Chinese. However, at that evening, or during the evening, we had 2 songs from the high school chorus that came up, and Ms. Caravano brought them up, and they sang, which were absolutely terrific. And I just want to share, so it goes on. The other thing that's amazing is almost every one of the students that you see tonight, they're involved in other things, and I don't know how they do it. How can I be this good at music and then still be involved in so many other, whether it's sports or band, marching band, or color guard, or whatever it might be? They are very, very talented. But what you're seeing each time people see the young students come up is we're seeing the future of this country. And what we can do in this microcosm called Fair Lawn is educate, give them opportunities to shine, and send them out to be productive leaders and family people and corporate people and medical people and musicians. That's what our job is. And they're going to lead this country someday. Thanks to all your support, I think we're going to be in good hands no matter what those naysayers are saying about this beautiful country. We got these kids out there. Now, for all of you, most of you recognize my voice because I'm in your house many times during the year. But now you see my face. But I have one last announcement, which is a message. I'm not on the phone, but I'm giving it to you. I'm predicting that Monday there is no snow, but you can have the day off. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. The board president wants to make some comments.
I just want to say on behalf of the Board of Education, we are so very proud of each and every one of our students, and we wish you continued success in your future. And I'm just blown away by the amount of honors. It's just amazing, and our music program is tops, and I'm just extremely happy. Chorus, everything. Keep up the good work. We're very proud of you. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the recognition of the 25 years of service recipients.
Give it a minute, just let the people who are leaving just shuffle out. Chairs are opening up, so if you want to sit, everybody, come up the front, the sides. Okay, good evening again, everybody. You know, just as we feel the students that you see today and all the other times we celebrate our kids, that we're in great hands in the future. Well, we're in great hands right now in the present, because we're going to recognize some dynamite people tonight who have done an absolutely wonderful job, and they're going to be recognized. So there's 2 types of recognitions we're going to talk to tonight. First of all, there was a major change. For many years, we have had each year, we have had the Outstanding Governor Recognition Award go to an outstanding teacher in each of the schools every year. And then that changed a while ago, and the governor couldn't fund it anymore, and the school districts in Bergen County continued, and we funded it, and we continued that, that celebration. Well, the governor is back in with a declaration this year for the first time. So coming out of the State Department of New Jersey, they were running a new recognition program called the Educators of the Year. And every school district, through a survey and a review by a team, a panel, would choose an outstanding teacher to be recognized from each school, but also for the first time, an outstanding support professional. Okay, other than a certificated teacher, it could be any of the support staff. So for the first time, tonight we're going to recognize both of those individuals from each school. We have a certificate of recognition with our Vice President, Mr. Gene Bant, who's going to hand them. And then we're going to also call up the 25-year recipients. Oh my gosh. 25 years in one place. And we're going to recognize their years of service, and we'll call them up, and our board president has a little gift for their service. So, here we go. We're going to start with Forest School, so I'm going to ask the principal. Some principals couldn't come tonight for a lot of reasons. One is very ill, went home ill today, and others are traveling, etc. But Mr. Weaver is here from Forest School, so I'm going to ask Mr. Weaver to come on up. He just came from a black tie engagement.
No, I don't want to speak badly about my colleagues, but at least I did wear a sports jacket.
Okay, we'll turn it over. Mr. Weaver?
So we're doing
Both. We're going to do both of them.
a little slow on the uptake. Baseball and softball, and speeding down the parkway without a ticket to get back here on time. So I have the very good fortune of presenting Lee Pissarro this evening from Forest School and Lori Ciccio this evening from Forest School. I'll start with Lee Pissarro. Lee Pissarro, you walk into Lee's room, and the one thing you notice immediately is that Lee is littered on her lanyard with clothespins. And so last week, my dryer wasn't working, and my wife called me, and she said that you need to find someone to fix the dryer. And so, you know, whenever you need something, you go to the people who you think are experts in that area. And so I went to Lee, and I asked Lee, you know, Lee, what do you think? And she said, well, you should probably check the vent to make sure that it isn't clogged. So I went home, and I took the vent apart, and it wasn't clogged, but then I couldn't put the vent back together again. And so I then had to call a service technician to come. The service technician came, and he looked at it, and he said it wasn't the vent, and that now that I broke it, it was going to cost more to fix. And encouraged me. He said, next time, call an expert first, because you'll save some money in the process. And so I share that story with you because Lee is not a dryer technician, but she's an expert in her field. And she literally and she figuratively wears her children with her wherever she goes throughout the course of the school day. Once the day has ended, into her weekends and over vacations and summer. Not only is she a master teacher in the classroom with her students, but she's a mentor as well. As principals, we have friendly competition among each other. We don't strive to be the best because we're a team, but we do like to brag when we get the opportunity. Like Mrs. Delaglio, you know, she likes to brag that her school has the best displays of student work. And yes, her school does have some very nice displays of student work. And so we were in a meeting not too long ago, and Christy was talking about one of her teachers, Jenna Delatro, and talking about how great of a job she was doing as an early career teacher. And so I had to take that as an opportunity to remind Christy that her very excellent early career teacher was mentored by my very excellent second grade teacher, Lee Pissarro. And so, ladies and gentlemen, Lee Pissarro. now Lori Sissio. Lori Sissio is a savant. We were in a faculty meeting on Monday, and we were in a dyslexia training. And there was an exercise in the dyslexia training to understand what words look like through the eyes of a student who has that disability. And everyone had in front of them a sheet of paper with paragraphs written as someone without would understand, and then paragraphs as someone who does sees it. And so the first paragraph was read, everyone understood and could see it in front of them. And then the second paragraph, Mrs. Sissio was asked to read. And as she read, I was following along, and it was fluent. And as I sat there and I listened, I was trying to multitask. I had my laptop in front of me, and I'm listening and I'm looking and I'm saying to myself, I knew she was good, but this is unbelievable. I can't believe that she's decoding in this way, only to find out a few minutes later that she had the real actual text in front of her. But she is really that good. She is innovative in the programs that she brings, like Sounds in Motion. She is progressive in the way that she communicates with parents and shares student work. She is consistently, regularly taking video of students and sharing that at home. Because how often do we as parents get to really see what our children look like throughout the course of a school day? And not only to share that with parents, but then to show parents this is how you can then go about supporting your child at home. And we're very lucky to have her. I'm proud to say, but also as the competitive person that I am, we had a field day last week, and the final two came down to Mrs. Sissio and Ms. Ray against myself and a fifth grader that I had selected to compete. And now, if I had won with the fifth grader, the entire school was going to get a homework pass. If Mrs. Sissio and Ms. Ray won, just their students were going to. So, I felt confident. I know my abilities. And had it not been for the fifth grader who dropped the balloon, we would have won. And so she has skills in that area as well, but I'm going to use this opportunity tonight to challenge Ms. Sissio to a rematch. And so I would like to invite her up here. Now, I'm going to let you choose a partner. I'm going to let you choose Ms. Lakatina, or I'm going to let you choose Mr. Watson. So I'm going to ask Ms. Lakatina to stand right over here. And I, by default, have Mr. Watson, so I would suggest that you put your glasses. Now, we're going to just take it down to one front and back up as far as we can, and we're going overhand. Okay? 1, 2. Thank you very much.
Okay, now, with Forest School, we also have 2 recipients of the 25-year service award. So we're going to call those folks up. Jody Barry, Forest School, and Karen Herman, Forest. You're welcome. Stay here. Michael, you want to say a few words?
Well,
Jody's not here? Jody's not here.
Saturday
Okay, we're going to
school.
give this to Michael, and you'll pass it on.
Karen is in charge of the lower wing in our school, which is all kindergarten and first grade. She mans the lower wing. And it, I won't say figuratively, it literally is like herding cattle. And, I had inside there is an expandable prod, so that it makes his job easier.
Great, I can use it.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay, thank you. Lindcrest School, the principal, Mrs. Corso could not make it, so I'm going to take it over. By the way, you now see, as we go through this, you'll see a classroom teacher, you'll see child study team people, and you will see speech, Lori, and so you have a host of choices here. I said before, non-certificated, I should have said that, they're all certificated. Okay, so we'll mark that down as my first mistake of the year. Got a month left, I'm going to do the best I can. Okay, so I'm going to ask Lily Shinkar and Leslie Tenney, are they both here? Lily's here, come on up. Leslie's here, come on up. I feel like... There is no curtain to pick from. Okay, here we go. First, this is what I've asked the principal to write something so I can read it tonight. First of all, Lily, I'm going to go over here by Lily. This is what she had to say. Mrs. Corso had to say this. Lily Shinkar has been in the Fair Lawn School District for 13 years. She has been a part of Lindcrest Child Study Team for the majority of those years. Lily is a warm, compassionate, intelligent member of the team. Dr. Shinkar has a gift in talking with students to make them more confident. She also has a special way with parents and the ability to explain sometimes complex situations in a clear, helpful manner, and I can attest to that. Lily is the turn-to quote, person at Lindcrest. In addition to her many responsibilities on the child study team, she assists with lunch meetings, INRS committees, and any other issues that may arise. We are proud to honor Dr. Shinkar this evening as the representative from Lindcrest Elementary School. Okay, Leslie Tenney, resource room teacher. Mrs. Corso writes the following. Leslie Tenney has been Lindcrest resource room teacher for the last 8 years. Leslie was hired right out of Delaware University. Okay. Who's this? Flacco, right? Joe Flacco. By football fan? She has amazing instincts as a teacher. In interviewing Leslie many years ago, she outshone many experienced teachers vying for her position. Her interview and subsequent demo lesson put her light years ahead of other candidates. She has grown tremendously over time and is currently an effective teacher with the LDTC license, as well as a special education certification. She has assisted with the state and district testing, that's part of it, been a member of the INRS team, and works collaboratively with all teachers K through 5. We are proud to honor tonight is Leslie Tenney, right here. Nice job, ladies. We do not have any 25-year recipients, so that ends Lindcrest. Okay, next is middle school. Joe here? Yes. Principal, Mr. Joseph Folco, come on up, Joe. I'm going to let Joe introduce the 2 recipients for the Educator of the Year.
Boy, it's so different being up here in front of parents, and usually it's in front of a faculty, the faculty meeting, and only kidding. Mills has a great staff, and we have 2 people that I would like to call forward at this time. Mrs. Marion Ent. And Mrs. Christine Murphy. I'd like to start with Marion first. Marion. This is a standing joke. What's great about Marion is that Marion is the one who usually starts the jokes about her height. And it's interesting because Marion teaches basic skills instruction math, And many of her classes occur at lunchtime. And at Milne School, we have 429 students, and half the students are coming down the hallway to lunch, and half the students are leaving lunch all through the same hallway, and Marion always comes to greet her students in the lunchroom to pick them up. And if you know anything about elementary school children, they're
taller.
No, it's interesting. When Marion brings down the 2nd and 3rd grade students, you see Marion. When she picks up the 4th and 5th grade students, you see the students. But I have to say, with all kidding aside, Marion is a phenomenal educator. She's been with the Fair Lawn School District for several years. Some words that I would use to describe Marion are flexible, kind, reflective, and collaborative. And those 4 words depict a woman who gives of herself every day, all day long. Marion comes in early, yes, she's in my coffee club in the morning, and she stays late. And as an ancillary teacher, she's paid by the hour. So you can tell the dedication that Marion has for her students. Marion also teaches on a cart, and that's an extremely difficult situation. We actually, at the beginning of the year, she was in a room, and I said, I came up to her one day and I said, "This is for you, it's a present." And she said, "Oh, what's that?" And I said, "It's to help you go to your new room." And she said, "Oh, where's that?" And I said, "In the media center." And I felt horrible because it's wonderful that our student body is growing. And what that means is we need to find more places for our teaching staff and for our students. And Marion is always gracious, and she volunteers and says, "I'll go." And she'll go anywhere where we need her to go. But she is in constant contact with her students and the parents all the time. And what's interesting about Marion is that she feels her biggest accomplishment this year is being able to navigate through and administer the park assessment. But I would like to say that I actually had the honor to work with Marion many years ago as the math specialist, and Marion was the first person who had come up to me and said, "I want you to know I learn every year from my students." And I think that's probably the biggest gift that she can say for her students. So congratulations and well deserved. Christine Murphy. We actually have 2 Christine Murphys at Milnes. One is Christy Murphy, a paraprofessional, and one is Christine Murphy, our school, I'm going to say psychologist, our school social worker. And Christine has a dual role. She's also our anti-bullying specialist. And this year she has taken on the role as being one of the main members of our ISKI grant. Milne School was awarded the Inclusive Schools Climate Initiative grant that we took over from TJ for the last 2 years. And Ashley Radburn will be joining us again next year. And Christine has taken a huge part, or a huge role in that, in making sure that we provide a great environment for our students. And she does that extremely well. She serves on our child study team. She works with students with special needs. She holds programs at lunchtime for students who actually would like to go and talk about life and talk about life's experiences. And when they need someone to go to, they know they go to Mrs. Murphy. And I think that C.T. Murphy, yes. If you're looking to find yes. her, it's not C. Murphy at Fair Lawn Schools, it's C.T. Murphy. So Christine has a new addition to her family, and she brings her around at the carnival, she brings her around at Halloween, so anytime you see an appendage to her, it is her new daughter. And you and your husband are extremely proud, and I can see already that as a social worker, what she brings to the students at Milnes, she does to her daughter as well. So it's my great honor to say thank you, and on behalf of the entire Milne staff, you are a well-deserving recipient.
Yes. Okay, at Mills, we do have two 25-year recipients, and I'd like the principal to make some brief comments on them. The first one, whoops, I got the wrong sheet. I got two sheets here. Okay, we'll have Patricia Gunster come up.
Trish is one of our paraprofessionals. She's currently working as in the LBLD, the Language-Based Learning Disabilities class, and she's been there ever since I've been there for the last 6 years.
I've only been in Milne. I was only parents who never left their building.
There you go. That's right. And she works with students with special needs. And Trish is a collaborative person. She works extremely well with her teammate, Mrs. Guido, and with the teacher, Mrs. Nicole Carbone. And anytime that you need to speak to Trish, you could always find her in the classroom because she is always with the children, traveling from one room to the next. And she is a great treasure, and we really appreciate your dedication for the last 25 years. So, thank you.
Beth Wazani. Come on up, Beth.
I'm surprised that Beth is not wearing something New York Yankees or something Mickey Mouse. There are two things that Beth loves more than anything else, and it is the Disney. If you want to see her this summer, maybe she'll be on a Disney cruise or at a Yankee game. But even more so, when she's with us at Milne School, Beth is one of 3 resource room teachers, and Beth teaches from the heart. She is extremely well versed in the Wilson program, and students in our younger grades, 1 and 2, have the pleasure of having her as their instructor day in and day out. And Beth, for 25 years, I don't know if you've been at Milne's for 25 years, but we hope that you'll be here for many more years in the future. Congratulations.
Great. Thank you very much. Make a note of that. Okay, we're going to go to Radburn School, and we have, I'm going to ask Mr. Dorso to come up and join me on this. We have a dual presentation here. The first teacher for recognition in the year is Laura Kepler. Laura, come on up. Good. All right. Our principal, Jill Lindsay, went home ill today, so she's asked me to read what she has prepared for Laura, and I'm going to do that. Miss Laura. Miss Laura Kepler has been a speech pathologist for the last 36 years and has worked at Fair Lawn Public Schools for the last 14 years. She received her undergraduate degree and graduate degree from Montclair State University. She has a BA in Communication Sciences and Disorders and an MA in Speech Pathology. She is married to her husband, Bernard, and they have 2 beautiful children, Joseph and Andrea. In her free time, Laura enjoys spending time with her family. She enjoys cooking, traveling, drawing, and reading in her spare time as well. She is a warm, dedicated educator who is always willing to help out and someone who never says no. Laura has the ability to calm even the most active child using only her voice. Her soothing tone provides students with an excellent example to emulate. She provides students with fun, interactive ways to practice a variety of speech-related concepts. Students love visiting her because she demonstrates how she cares and truly listens to them. Laura described one of her best experiences as a speech pathologist to be seeing the look of accomplishment on her students' faces when they master the speech and language goals she establishes for them. Oh, how nice. She feels that working for the Fair Lawn Public Schools for the last 14 years has allowed her to share in the joy of student learning every day. She appreciates the opportunity to be part of our wonderful learning community. This is why I am so very pleased to present Laura Kepler as Radburn School Specialist Teacher of the Year. Now, Mr. Dorso, stay here, George. I just want to make one comment, a little off the cuff, but so far we've had 2 speech pathologists, and I just want to say, this year I had picked as one of my personal goals, and the board approved it, to work with our speech pathologists throughout the district as they came forward and requested to introduce a new model to work with students. I was so impressed with that I said I would like to at least support you directly through a goal. And I can't tell you how much I have learned from these folks and what they do. I didn't know what they did day in and day out, but how much it is now through this new model giving them more freedom to do more for our children. And I'm going to talk more about it with the board on June 1st, or they're going to talk more about it with the board on June 1st. But it was my pleasure getting to know all of them on a more personal level, and I enjoyed every minute of it. Mr. Dorso is up here tonight. Besides one of his responsibilities being science, he also has a responsibility of physical education. And the other teacher that we're recognizing in Radburn School really works very closely with Mr. Dorso, and I'm going to have Mr. Dorso call him up and talk about it.
Harvey, you come up.
It always brings me a lot of pride when a physical education teacher gets the Teacher of the Year award, because it helps not only to recognize the important role that he plays and your colleagues play as educators, but also the important role that physical education plays in educating the whole child. So on behalf of Mrs. Lindsay, I'd just like to read the words that she's written. Harvey's been a teacher for 28 years. He's extremely versatile and an accomplished educator who has taught on all academic levels, elementary, middle school, and TJ where we first met, and at the high school. He's received an undergraduate degree from Salisbury University in Salisbury, Maryland, and he has a master's degree in the art of teaching from Marygrove College. He's married to his wife Val, and they live in Sparta with their therapy dog, Magnus. This isn't Harvey's first time winning the Teacher of the Year award. He also received this award in 1991 when he was teaching at Thomas Jefferson Middle School. In addition, Harvey has also been honored as the Outstanding Educator of the Year in 1994. In his free time, which I can't imagine you have much of, Harvey has been a coach for boys and girls soccer, softball, and basketball. His coaching career mirrors the years in teaching. He's received many awards and honors over the years, which includes the North Section 1 Coach of the Year, Star Ledger All Area Coach of the Year, Fair Lawn All Sports Community Service Award, Shopper All Area Coach of the Year, and Bergen Passaic All Coach Classic Head Coach, and several more. Since arriving at Radburn, Harvey quickly established himself and became someone who Ms. Lindsay relied on. He runs the school safety program, Safety Patrol, organizes many of the school's service projects, and is the team leader for the school's Character Education Committee. He is positive, collaborative, and exemplifies the type of educator that we have here in Fair Lawn. One of the most positive attributes that Harvey has is his interaction and relationship with the students of the school. He makes physical education class fun. He's able to work with the most difficult student and help them make a positive contribution. He ensures that all students participate in some way during physical education class and finds the one thing that motivates all of the students who are hard to engage. It's for these reasons and so many more that we are so pleased to present Harvey Egan as Radburn's Teacher of the Year.
We're going to keep him up here second because he wins 2 awards tonight. He is also receiving his 25-year service award from the Board of Education. We thank him for all of those years, and we'd like to keep him for another 25. Okay. We have Warren Point up next, and Mr. McGinnis was not able to be here tonight. However, he has also prepared something. I'm going to call up the professional specialist, Nurse Kathy Zabo, who is the nurse at Warren Point. Kathy, come on up. Is she here?
She couldn't make it tonight.
She could make it. Okay. All right. Well, Kathy.
The nurse isn't feeling well.
I would like to read. I didn't know this, so I would like to read this. They reminded me of this. Just the first paragraph. Mrs. Zabo has been an integral part of the Warren Point family for 14 years. Her district claim to fame, I don't know why they think this, but her district claim to fame lists her as the very first employee interviewed by Mr. Watson. I don't think that's a claim to fame, but I certainly know we picked a good one, so at least I get credit for doing something right. Okay, teacher, Governor Award winner, Educator of the Year, and this teacher, this young lady I know, Jacqueline Schmidt. Come on up, Jacqueline. Okay, so this is what the principal prepared, and I'll say a couple of things. Congratulations, Jackie, on receiving this well-deserved recognition. Jackie graduated from the college in New Jersey with a BS in English and Special Education. She also obtained her master's degree in Special Education and is currently pursuing her supervisor certificate. Jackie has worked at Warren Point since 2011 in our communication impaired class, or better known as CI2. Her students range from autistic to Down syndrome. Before this assignment, she was a resource room teacher for 2 years. Jackie is totally involved both on the school level and district level. She teaches in the extended school year program, serves on the SKIP committee, we know what that is, the INRS committee, Next Generation Science Standard Committee, and is on the Fair Loan Association for Special Education as a board member, 3rd VP. Jackie, that's involved. Jackie also is a tennis coach for the Bergen County Special Olympics since 2002. You wonder where somebody's heart lies, right, when you hear this? Okay? What a nice way to spend their time. If anyone is deserving of this award, it is Jackie. She spent an hour of her class, and you will see, just spend an hour in her class, and you will see how she is able to work with severely disabled children. Teach them things that I would never believe they could attain, and always with a smile on her face. She is a wonderful teacher and a very caring human being. Congratulations to Jackie. Before you clap, let me add, one of the things I personally observed Jackie a couple of times. Once Jackie invited me in to read to her students, well, twice, no. And I had a wonderful time. And reading to a class of communication impaired children is a challenge. And yet, every one of the students responded to the reading, and we had a little conversation. I was so impressed, and that's because of her tutelage to those kids. The other time I saw Jackie was she was actually, my office is at Edison School. Jackie was doing some extra work at Edison School for us. And I would periodically, at the end of the day, at 4 o'clock, I'd be walking down the hall to go to the men's room, because it's at the end. And who do I pass in the classroom working hard? Jackie. So we got to talking a little bit. We got to know each other on another, just another special level. And I've been so impressed with this teacher. And I'm saying publicly, we are very, very lucky to have her on our staff. So let's give her a nice round. We have a 25-year recipient, Susan Dabrowski. It was a great one. We were just talking about our state volleyball game. Fairlawn won today, 2 games, boys volleyball. That's their state playoff. And Montclair, we beat Montclair. So we move on. When I walked in to watch it, Susan was sitting in the stands. We smiled at one another and we watched the game. So it was great. Nice touch. Now, I don't work with Susan, as I don't personally work with many of the people in this room. But I will say that being around the district as long as I have and observing what goes on, not only with Jackie Schmidt and the other wonderful special education teachers, you see a couple more tonight, but also the paras. I couldn't fathom how we would run such a wonderful district program. We have so many programs for these children. And if it weren't for people like teachers, like paras, who are so talented and so caring for children, we wouldn't have the success we have with our program. So personally, I think we all should give Susan a nice round of applause for what she did. Okay, so we're going to move on. We have, let's see, Westmoreland, and we have two teachers. I'm going to call the principal up. It's Christy Delaglio, principal of Westmoreland School. Hello, Christy. Yes, I know. I was talking. One teacher could not make it tonight. And as a matter of fact, I was speaking with her. We visited Memorial School today, myself and Natalie and Ron Dorso, the three of us, the trio. We went over to see Scott. Wonderful program they're running over there with our teachers. Jen Patch was running, and a bunch of other people. And I ran into Grace Kloon, who was there. So we had a nice chat, but she's not here. So, but we do have somebody else you're going to recognize.
I do. I would like to call up Ms. Nicole Ravatina, please. So as Mr. Watson mentioned, we've been so privileged to honor several speech teachers tonight, and Nicole is one of them. So Nicole received her bachelor's degree from Towson University in Maryland, and she completed her graduate studies and master's program in speech pathology. I'm always very articulate when I say that, Nicole. From Seton Hall University. She joined the Westmoreland team in 2013, working with students at Radburn School during the extended school year. Nicole is one of the most upbeat, fun-loving, and energetic professionals I've ever met, and I've yet to see a day that she's not smiling just like that. During the 2 years that she's served as Westmoreland speech therapist, she's become an integral part of our staff. She collaborates with members of our faculty, ensuring that her students are successful in the classroom, and she provides push and support to be sure they're transferring all of the skills that they've learned in speech into the classroom setting. She celebrates each one of her students' individual achievements. In fact, I believe it was the first spring that she was here, I walked by Nicole's office and I noticed some big party going on in there. When I walked through the door, through a wall of streamers and balloons, I was wondering, there was no one else in the office, so I was ready to wish her a happy birthday when Nicole bounced out of her seat and then said, "Surprise, Morgan's graduating from speech today!" Because she has big parties and graduations for all of her students who are graduating from speech. So this excitement is very contagious and exactly why our students are attracted to her. They beg to visit her classroom every day, knowing that Ms. Ravatina is one of her biggest cheerleaders. Nicole's a valuable resource on our team. She presents at faculty meetings to educate all of her colleagues on strategies and techniques to assist her students having difficulty with speech in the classroom, especially during the current month of May, which is
Better Speech and Hearing Month.
Yes, it is. We've had balloons in the faculty meeting to celebrate that, along with several resources to continue to educate us. So we wish you the best, Nicole. Congratulations on this well-deserved award. Thank you.
Westmoreland does have a 25-year recipient, but she could not be with us tonight. It's Allison Bernberg, but we're going to give her a round of applause and a couple. That's right. That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I'm going to go to Memorial School, and I have the pleasure of calling up the principal, Mr. Scott Helfand, who is going to introduce the teacher.
Please call up Mrs. Colleen Campbell and Ms. Jen Patch, please. start with Ms. Colleen Campbell. Colleen is really the consummate professional. Attention to detail, stickler for the rules, although she might not see it that way. But what's most amazing about Colleen really is the attention that she gives to all of our students, especially our special needs students. We house the autistic students and the communication impaired students at Memorial, and she has such a kind and nurturing and sincere way of dealing with these students who, many of them, can't communicate, they're nonverbal, and yet they still, in their own way, ask to come see Colleen throughout the day. And she sits with them, she holds their hand, she comforts them, and watching her warms my heart because she has such a special, special way of dealing with them. And I just want to say thank you for the way you do it for them, because they definitely get the best care that I could ever hope for them and their parents get. So thank you. It's also an honor to introduce Jen Patch to you. Jen is our Teacher of the Year. Jen began teaching Spanish 12 years ago when she started her career at Memorial as a Spanish teacher or a teacher of Spanish. And she has remained every bit as passionate for education as she was when she walked in to those doors. It's always been more about, or more than just teaching students how to speak Spanish and become speakers of Spanish. It's more about what she can do with children to foster a lifelong love of learning and a passion for exploration. Everything she does is about instilling in children a respect for other cultures. And every year, this time of year, we were lucky enough that we have our World Cultures Week that Jen has really spearheaded. Somebody had made a mention that she is really the foundation of those events. And today, and Mr. Watson and Ms. Lacatina and Mr. Durso came to join us, and we just had, I would say, probably 80% of the students were there with us, enjoying foods from around the world and just having a great time. And these are some of the things that she does throughout the year. What I also need to mention is that passion for learning doesn't just extend to kids, it extends to staff. She is so involved in the new teacher education programs that we have in the district. She hosts Coffee House once a month. It's an opportunity for new teachers to come and share their experiences with others. She works during the summer with new teachers as I believe, a trainer of the mentors. So she really, there's so much that she does for the district that means so much to our students and the staff. So thank you for that as well. It's a pleasure.
We have a 25-year recipient from Memorial.
Mrs. Nancy Herman, come on out.
Come on up.
I'm here with you. Nancy has obviously 25 years of service to the community of Fairlawn and to Fairlawn students. She actually began as a substitute and then was hired to work with Fairlawn special needs students. She has been in Forest Elementary and Memorial Middle School, has worked with 9 different principals. I'm hoping that I will be your last, but I'm hoping that's like for an extended time. She has truly dedicated herself to the education of special needs students. She works with our 6th grades and the LBLD language arts class, 8th grade students in the same type of a program. And she's committed herself to the benefit of these students, and she works so well with them. We're fortunate that we have her because we know that with the large population of special needs students that Memorial has, that we can count on Nancy to work with them and drive them and push them to be the best that they can be. And every day that's what she does. She instills in her students a love of learning and a desire to reach their potentials and go beyond. So Nancy, thank you very much.
Great, thank you, Scott. We have just a few buildings left. TJ Middle School, I'm going to ask the principal to come on up. So Sherry Galafaro, please join us. And you will introduce your teachers.
That's great. First, it's a real honor to introduce to you the Governor's Educational Services Professional of the Year, Mrs. Kathleen Benetti. Come on up. Oh, it's with integrity and professionalism that has never ever wavered that Kathy has cared for 666 students and 90 staff that grace the halls of the TJ community over the past 18 years. Imagine taking care of 756 people in the course of everyday school life. I have trouble taking care of myself. You are the person that works tirelessly, never seeking any recognition for the job that you do. And a nursing job is not easy. In one instance, you can find her triaging a child that's maybe diabetic. On another hand, I watch her patiently, lovingly, helping an anxious child move on through the school day. Or I find her running around. You know the Energizer Bunny that never unwinds? She is running around the school constantly caring for all of the medical needs of our students. And even if a student needs a Band-Aid, I truly believe they come to see her for the caring and compassion that she gives to them. Besides her nursing responsibilities, she works with the child study team, she works with parents, guidance, administration, giving insights and suggestions on how to help our children. She cares about the whole child, for she is a team player. She wants to help them medically, emotionally, and academically. With patience, laughter, and guidance, you can always find her running here and there as she helps our children deal with the joys and sorrows of middle school life. Like a child that needs solace when in pain, it is Kathleen Benetti, TJ's amazing nurse, that extends the hand that heals their wounds and heals their hearts. So, congratulations, for you are so deserving of this award. Thank you for everything. Now, it's like double the pleasure. It's like a gum, you know. Tonight, I also get to introduce to you and recognize our Flace Starfish Award winner this year, as well as the Governor's Teacher of the Year Award winner, Ms. Sharon Draven. I love both of them. This is so much fun. Okay. You know, every child needs to be inspired to believe that all things are possible when success may seem so fleeting. It is that teacher who never gives up on them year after year that motivates them to try again when learning can be so painstakingly difficult. It is that teacher that rejoices in their academic victories, no matter how insignificant most might find them to be, because she understands the kind of mountains they have to climb in order to get to that point. It is that teacher that consoles them through personal hardships that they may experience in the middle school, giving them comfort and strength to move forward. It is that teacher whose expertise and knowledge searches for the resources that will help them to be all that they can be. So, it is that teacher who shines. She's shining? With a glow that never loses its luster. That teacher is the wonderful, hard-working professional, Ms. Sharon Draven. She is entrenched in helping all our children within the entire TJ community succeed. Ms. Reagan is the special education child's advocate when they cannot find their voice. She is a teacher that enables them, not disables them, to become all that they can be, as well as inspire them, and their go-to friend. They just go to chit-chat with her after school. because they love her. And chit-chat and chit-chat and chit-chat. Ms. Bragan is the type of teacher that all children benefit from learning, and she is what makes TJ's character education program work. She spearheads our school walkathon, never losing sight of the importance of instilling within each child our character traits. And her belief in our community and paying it forward has enabled us to give monies to Fairlawn EMS, our fire department, our children's therapy center, and give assistive technology where needed to individuals in need. Sharon, thank you for helping our students, not just those with disabilities, recognize their potential and for making them feel beautiful about whom they are. You are deserving of this award, for you are a teacher whose life has been about caring, loving, and helping children within the TJ community. Congratulations.
Well, she gives me Band-Aids too when I need them.
Okay, thank you. We have no 25-year recipients, so we're going to go. We've got two schools left. First, Edison School first. And in Edison School, Dr. Joyce Dean is not with us tonight. She was out today, so we had asked her assistant, Mrs. Michelle Carino, to step in, and she is going to do the introductions. Thank you, Michelle.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. Children enter Edison at the tender age of 3. You can imagine how overwhelming they must feel. They come into this big building, it's unknown, and there are big people there that are unknown, except me, of course. And it's a hard adjustment. It's equally a hard adjustment for the children as it is for the parents, because the parents are dropping off their babies, and that's pretty scary to be trusted somebody's care. And also the parents are first entering the special education system, and that's pretty scary too. So it takes a really special staff at Edison to work with these children and our parents. And tonight I am so honored because we have 2 of the most exemplary staff here that are winning this award. Ironically, Tracy and Peter. Tracy Lashley is our specialist, and Peter Petrelli is our teacher of the year. Ironically, they started in Fairlawn in 2003 together, which means they were tenured together in 2006, and now they're being honored together in 2015. So it is nice. So I would like to start in alphabetical order, ladies first, with Tracy Lashley. Tracy is an occupational therapist. She works with the most severely handicapped children, and then also with children that in a very short period of time under her unique care, they're able to be discharged from her care. She works on fine motor issues and sensory integration issues. And she sets very high expectations for all of her students, and they have fun. They don't know how hard they're working. It's almost amazing. I go into the classrooms and I see Tracy working with the children in the classroom, and I'm amazed how creative she is and how she's just part of the room, and she collaborates with the teachers so that she's just kind of incorporated into the classroom, doing the lesson of the week with them. So if they're working on the letter J, Tracy is having them color the letter J or cut the letter J or tear pieces of paper to fill in the letter J or doing a jumping activity. And she's just very creative in working with the children and the teachers. And what's very important about her going into the classrooms like this is that not only are the children benefiting, but the teachers and the paraprofessionals are benefiting, because the skills that she's teaching the children have to be carried over throughout the week when she's not there. And so she does that so nicely with the staff and with her expert talents. Beyond being a quintessential occupational therapist, Tracy is a leader among the occupational therapists and physical therapists in our district. And they see her as their leader, and they turn to Tracy for guidance and support. She coordinates and leads all of her department meetings, and she works hard on the scheduling, which is a nightmare, throughout the district for our OTs and our PTs. Tracy is a forward thinker and a problem solver. She always is coming to me or to Joyce, and she has some idea of either something we should be doing or a problem we should be solving, and she doesn't just come with the issue, she comes with solutions. She makes suggestions like, let's go into the general education classrooms and teach and get the kindergarten and first grade teachers together and teach them how to best teach handwriting skills. And then let's also show them, if the students are having difficulty with handwriting, how to accommodate. And that's beyond her realm of her own children, but it's something that she's always looking to do beyond and throughout the district for all the children. Tracy organized one of the best paraprofessional workshops that we ever had in our district. It was quite a few years ago. However, people still talk about it today. And what she did was she incorporated information and strategies about occupational therapy so that the paraprofessionals could go back the very next day and utilize those skills. And she did it in a way where she broke up all of the topics so that the paras could go in small groups to each of those little work sections, so that they would have a personalized experience with an OT rather than in a big audience. So she's always thinking outside the box. Finally, Tracy leads our district in providing a format for us to address OT issues for potential 504 students. Again, even though this is out of the realm of special education. Tracy, your commitment to children is beyond question, and I hold you in the highest regard. Congratulations. Peter, come on up. Peter is a talented teacher who could probably teach anyone at any age anything. He came to us before he came to Fairlawn, he was a resource room teacher, and he has been a preschool disabled teacher for us and a stepping stones teacher for us. He currently teaches pre-K stepping stones and works on everything from toilet training to pre-academic skills. The climate of his classroom is caring as he provides personal attention to each and every student, allowing them to grow in a very safe and nurturing environment. I personally love going into his classroom and just sitting there and watching Peter at work. Peter took on a very challenging student case. It was a student who needed to have home instruction because he was home-based or homebound because he has a severe immune deficiency disorder. And this child was afraid of everyone because really he didn't really come in contact with adults, many adults, but not Mr. Pete. Peter just has this way to connect with children, and they just immediately trust and love him. And Peter played a critical role in this child's life. Peter also broke ground working with a child who is not only autistic, but is also deaf. And there's really no research out there about how to educate children with this dual disability. But Peter took it upon himself to reach out to a teacher at Bergen County Special Services and to pool their knowledge together. It was the teacher of the deaf, so he had the expertise in autism, she had the expertise in teaching children that are deaf, and they pooled their knowledge and they provided, or Peter provided, a fabulous program for this child. He didn't leave it there though. He said, you know what, we need to bring this person in so all the staff at Edison can benefit from her and her knowledge, because many of the staff are working with the child as well. And so he thought beyond his own classroom, and he got her to come in and to educate the staff at Edison. You know, you were just really a pioneer in this endeavor. I know Joyce tells you you should be writing up these experiences because other people can learn from all that you have done. If I had unlimited time, I would like to share more details about Peter's concern for each individual child, how he makes learning fun, how he collaborates with staff, and how he's always extending himself to help another teacher, especially when there are serious behavioral concerns. I personally feel very confident when Peter is there to help a child who is in crisis. With all this said, he's also the one to play the practical jokes at Edison. And he keeps us all laughing and upbeat. Peter, you are highly respected by me, Dr. Dean, all of your peers at Edison, and I really am honored to be the one presenting you tonight with this honor.
Okay, a while ago, this is Edison School, I had commented that, you know, our offices, my office and a number of the business offices, personnel, HR offices, technology, we're over at Edison School as well. We have a 25-year recipient tonight from Edison School, but it's not a teacher. So I'm going to ask her to come up. It is our school business administrator, Mrs. Joanne Wilson. That's the smile you always see. Joanne started in the district many years ago, obviously, as an assistant business administrator. She came from the corporate world and made the transition to the light side of the world. And I happen to know that's true. And she's been with us for 25 years. In those 25 years, she has honed her craft, and I can tell you from real experience, obviously I've been around a long time in Bergen County education, and I can tell you that a great business administrator is very hard to find. Have somebody that understands the array of responsibilities that goes along. It's not just understanding numbers. It's a heck of a lot more. It's getting the trust of the board, trust of the superintendent to make critical and expensive decisions for the best interest of the children of this district, for the best interest of improvement in areas to help our teachers, our buildings, etc. And she does that very well. Over the years, as she was honing these skills, going to workshops, working with mentors, etc., and she had a number of very good ones along the way, as an assistant, it came down to finally I went in and talked to her about, I think it's time. Our present BA at the time was moving on, left the district, and I talked to Joanne prior to that, and she was not able to move over yet to take the #1 position. But this last time, she was ready. And I was very pleased that she was ready, and she's been with us ever since as the business administrator. Board secretary, she has a dual role. I won't get into the definition, it's a long one, but she has a dual role. And I couldn't be more happy and more proud to work with her every day. And this community has benefited from her knowledge. Years after years, putting budgets together, being able to work under caps that are strict, where other districts are cutting staff. We're not only saving staff, we've been adding a couple of people. We have huge projects ahead of us. There is money. We are financially sound. This year alone, we were upgraded, given the highest rating by Moody's as a solid school district, financially solid. That doesn't come easy. This is all the hard work that this professional has put forth in the years to study and get to the point she is today. She is one of the outstanding business administrators, not only in Bergen County, but I believe in the state of New Jersey. I can say that because I've been around Bergen County and in the state of New Jersey. I've interviewed BAs, I've been on committees to help other districts hire business administrators, etc. So I know what we have, we're very fortunate. So congratulations, and we're very proud to have you.
Was it in the budget? I don't think so. I don't think it was either. It's right off the cap.
Last school that we're going to hear from tonight, and obviously just as important, not only that they're last, but the largest, Fairlawn High School. And I'm going to call up our principal, Mr. Jim Marcella, and Mr. James is going to introduce the teachers.
Okay, I'd like to bring over Mr. DeBlock and Mr. Van Coy. I'm going to start. I'd like to start with giving a little background on each of these gentlemen, then I'm going to tell you a little bit about their impact on Fairlawn High School. So bear with me. Ken DeBlock, standing next to me here. Kenny has been in Fairlawn High School for 40 years. He is graduated from Montclair State University. You want me to say the year? It's okay. I already said 40 years. 1975, in Industrial Arts Education certification. He began in Fairlawn 40 years ago as a mechanical drawing teacher, and it was in the old quarterly rotations we used to have at TJ in 1975. He would move to the high school in 1980, so you're here since 80. When TJ had some enrollment issues and they closed for a little while. So over those years, he taught metal shop, wood shop, mechanical and architectural drafting, graphic arts, all at the high school. Kenny started the first CAD lab in Bergen County High Schools in 1987. So we had the first CAD lab in Bergen County in 87, thanks to Kenny. Subsequently, he taught CAD classes also for the public in our community schools for several years. Kenny has an MA in education with a concentration in administration and supervision from Jersey City State in 1993. And he has his postgraduate certification in counseling from William Patterson in 97. Kenny is a guidance counselor since 1997 here at the high school. He is currently our facilitator, which is somewhat of a supervisor of the department. And Kenny won this year, last year actually, Kenny was selected as Bergen County High School Counselor of the Year. That is a county-wide selection. Henry Van Coy. Henry graduated from Stockton State College. You want me to tell the year? Sure. Okay. 1986. If I was up there with two female teachers, they wouldn't want me to. 1980. Oh. He graduated from Montclair State University with a master's in teaching and social studies in 1991. Henry then worked with a mental health center, the Passaquoddy Valley Mental Health Center, was a group home manager, and then came to Fairlawn High School in 1992 to teach. He piloted for us the AP Psychology course, as well as Principal Psychology, History of Human Behavior, and Behavioral Foundations. He was one of the founding advisors of the Gay Straight Alliance here in 2002. He's currently still the advisor for the Erase Club, if you don't know what the Erase Club means, End Racism and Sexism Everywhere. He has served on the core team for 20 years. Core team is a team that we meet every week to help students who have issues that could be a variety of issues. That team meets together to work with those kids, whether it's abuse issues or any kind of emotional issues that we need to work with to help them succeed in school. And Kenny's been on that team too, but Henry's been on the team for 20 years. He currently serves on our school safety team, which is a part of the team that deals with our HIV law and helps us to set the tone in the high school. And he is also currently our affirmative action officer. So Henry has done a great deal for the psyche of Fairlawn High School. Now to talk a little bit more about, I was impressed this year because as Mr. Watson mentioned very early on, this year the award was changed. It used to be Teacher of the Year, we selected one person. And it was not necessarily done by the committee that put together in the building itself. It was done at the district level.
the building got this year to put a committee together with the principal and choose the recipients. I think it's very telling that this year, what our committee, we did a lot of hard work. Nominations come from students, from staff members, from parents, and we did a lot of hard work. And what we came up with was two men who, between them, if my math is right, have given 63 years of their lives to Fair Lawn School District, most of it to Fair Lawn High School. And in those 63 years, you know, high school, a lot of people, when you think about high school, you think about SATs, and you think about getting ready for college, and you think about academics and the stress and the pressure and everything that's going on. And I don't think you think about the humanity that's in a building like this every day. This building has probably, in any given day, you come in, there's 1,800 people. That's a lot of humanity in one place. These two gentlemen together have done so much to help those people in this building over those 63 combined years that I can't say enough about how they've affected the tone of this building. The way that we in this building, thanks to their hard work and sharing with other people here, you know, of respect and tolerance and understanding. It's a high school, and it really is something I think that we're most proud of, is that part of us, what our culture is about here. And I think these two men, I think that's why I think it's a very telling thing that this year, the committee that's based in the high school chose these two gentlemen to represent our high school, because that's what our high school's about, and these two guys really have done the lion's share of the work here, and I appreciate it, and I wish him so much luck. Kenny is retiring in June this year, so he's going to be... We're going to miss him, but I do have a piece of advice. That industrial arts certification, you're golden. You can get a job anywhere. You don't work a little part-times. Industrial arts you can't find anymore. And of course, Henry's going to be here for a long time. We appreciate it. But I really think, just to me, when I sat on the committee, when we worked together, I just thought, to me, that's what we're about. It's really what these two gentlemen brought to us is really what this school is about. And I thank them for that.
And we have a 25-year recipient at the high school, so Mr. Marcella.
Is one of our science teachers. John has been with us obviously for 25 years. I've worked with him for the last 10. I have some special little duties that John does for me. I'll tell you about in a minute. But I just happened to be this past, was it this week, Monday or last Friday? I get confused. A lot of observations. And I happened to be in his AP Physics 1 class. AP Physics 1 class. And I sat there to do an observation. And I was myself, I asked a couple of questions, right? And they were intelligent questions, I think. But one of the things that you see when you sit in John's class, it was an AP Physics class. That is a college level course. And I sat there and watched him work with these students, and it was the lesson was about electrical circuitry and things like that, things that I've been puzzled about for many years. And I sat and watched him break it down. These are high-level kids, but it is a college-level course. There's some things people forget. The AP course is just not that it pushes you a little. It is a college-level course. That's why you get college credits for it. And the way John is able, in such a kind, calm, non-threatening kind of manner, really, kids don't feel the pressure. They feel to ask questions. I mean, what I noticed mostly was how willing those kids in that class were able to work together collaboratively, not just with each other, but with John, and how they were able to really, they came up with some really great questions and really, they solved the problem. They ran into a couple of little glitches, and the way he was able to explain it to them, it solved a couple of issues I had about resistors. I haven't understood resistors for years. Every time the guy comes to fix my air conditioner, he says the resistor. I don't know if I believe him or not, but after this lesson, I think it's like a standard kind of thing. But after talking to John, at least I understand what they're talking about now. So that's what John has done for us.
I think it's going to get some money also, right?
Yeah, well, I have to pay him next time. But then he has one really special duty that is probably the most important thing he does. Other than teach, he teaches the most important thing he does. Every year of graduation, we have to watch the weather. John is a meteorologist. I don't even call him an amateur meteorologist. Have you ever seen his computers and his screens and the different programs that he subscribes to on his own? He's the guy. He knows what's going to happen. I'm putting you on the spot now. But when we've had issues, we had an issue. Remember when we had to run off the field? He knew we were going to have to run off the field right about at that time. He told me you got an hour window. So we ran out there and did what we had to do. We got the graduation in. But that's thanks to John. So his duty, everybody has a duty on graduation night, either sitting on the field or in here giving out diplomas or managing the crowd, all those kinds of things. John has one specific duty. It's right on paper. His duty, he's my meteorologist. He sits in an office and he has screens up and he just keeps the radio and lets me know what the weather, what's going to happen. Because that's the biggest thing we have to do. And thanks to him, so see, I'm saying you. How we look. Rangers do with the weapons on him. And that's a special thing. So, John,
As we return to our chairs to continue with tonight's business and agenda items, I want to take the time to thank everybody that participated, received the awards, spoke about the people. We're very fortunate. We have an outstanding school district because of the people that work here. And I'm so proud to be the superintendent. Wherever I go, I talk about, all the teachers, all the staffing. Wherever I go, I brag about this place. And yes, tonight, it's really, you heard some of the facts, why we brag about our people. So, congratulations. We're going to shift back to the meeting. No, we're not? No, we're not. We're going to not shift back to the meeting. More awards. Oh, Al. Okay, well, I'm going to sit down.
I'm going to turn the meeting over to Al.
That's dangerous.
He's our representative from New Jersey School Boards, and he's got a couple of awards to present to our board members and our board.
I do. Thank you for having me. Just a quick, for everybody else, my job as a school board's field service rep is I train boards of education, and I'm like a consultant to them. So I have all of Bergen County and a couple of districts outside Bergen County. And my job really is to work with boards to improve their effectiveness and provide training across the board. And I've had the pleasure to work with your board, but before I do, that has to be one of the best hours I've ever spent at a board meeting. So congratulations to all the people here and the board. That was wonderful. As you can see, professional development is important with your staff, but it's also important with your board. Two folks are on the board that are receiving recognition tonight as certified board members. These are folks that go above and beyond outside the workday, outside the board meetings to get professional development. And we've had several people in Bergen County get that award this year. And the first one on your board here is Mary Wallace. Mary? Congratulations, Mary. Well done. Well done. And secondly, Cindy Quackenbush. this is really the best part, in my mind, because every year our association gives out milestone awards for board members, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. In fact, in the last 5 years, we've had 2 people who have served 50 years in the state of New Jersey on the board, so that's phenomenal. But in addition to that, we have levels of certification, certified board member, master board member. We also have board certifications. And a few years back, your board, Fairlawn, received a certified board member certification. Well, that wasn't enough, particularly for people like John and Mary and Eugene, who have been on the board a long time. They wanted to go farther and higher. So they said, we want to be a master board, okay? In New Jersey school boards, since 2011, there's 585 school districts. Only 10 have received this honor. And this year in New Jersey, this is the only one. So I'm really proud of it. Excuse me. So I will read this. Your board is among an elite group of school boards to meet the rigorous standards prescribed by NJBSA Board Member Academy, having demonstrated the high regard for effective board governance and student achievement. It is hereby recognized for achieving the Carol E. Larson Master Board Certification, May 2015. Congratulations. You're welcome. My pleasure.
And my personal congratulations goes to Mary, but I also would like to thank Mary for spearheading us in getting the master board. We all, as board members, worked really long and took it very seriously, and we are very, very honored and proud to serve.
Okay. We're going to move on our agenda. Board comments. Mary?
Yes, 2 things. At the work session last week, where we
I'm just going to call for a 5-minute recess before we continue on with our agenda. So, second?
Thanks for that number. You just called. You want me to leave this?
What are you doing back? I do it here.
Do you think when they come back, they want like
yeah, they might clear out a little bit.
I'm depending on you, Jim. Okay.
All right, we're going to move on to board comments.
Yes, hello, back again.
And then Jeff.
Yep.
Go ahead, Mary.
Okay,
Sorry.
so at the last work session, we worked arduously on the duties of each committee. And then we were charged, Jeff and I were charged with taking the information and putting it in some parallel structure, correct grammar, so forth and so on. So I want to report that after 5 rough drafts, well, the final one is draft 6. After 6 rough drafts going back and forth, we had concerns, we had questions, we reached out to administration to answer our questions.
We had some grammatical, and some concerns. We're still looking at one word. We've got to check in a thesaurus. But in the end, we finished up with a conversation back and forth, and now they're in their final form. That is the committees that we already worked on. And they are in the hands of the president to move forward. But we know there's no real rush on all of this. We are going to be looking to put together something in a rough draft on the shared services. Mike has sent me a few things. Elise is going to send us a few things for a few little blurbs on a student dialogue, and we'll get that going. But at any rate, we're happy to report our job is done. That's number one. Second thing, I did want to apprise you that the Personnel Committee did confer. I will have other things to say in closed session, but the Personnel Committee did review the job descriptions of the Director of Special Education. We reviewed the job description of principal, and we reviewed the job description of the Director of the Community School. So we have looked at that, and that's the end of my report.
Thanks, Mary. Jeff?
Okay, got a couple things here. First, I met with the folks at Technology and just had a few things to report back. First, we got another 400 or so laptops. That brings us to 1,600 in the district. I believe that is right, Mr. Watson? Okay, which will, I cannot remember where he said those will be distributed to. I didn't write it down.
Well, they're going to be distributed all over. Not going. We have high school. We have all over the district.
Okay. We have upgraded our internet to 1 gig for each school with something called redundancy. So we'll have a lot more bandwidth for our schools to expand any online initiatives and online learning, for example, our BYOD program, and to also allow for those extra laptops to be online all at once. The best part about it, because a lot of schools are going from 300 megabytes to 1 gigabyte, we are not paying any more money to do this, and that is all happening this summer. So great job getting that together. We spoke about having a single sign-on for students and teachers with all the things that, instead of just signing on and signing on, they're working on a single sign-on for students, faculty, administration. They're also this summer putting in a better firewall and security system that will enhance our ability to prevent hacking and attacking. He said that it is the next generation firewall. It has better website filters, and it is a, quote, much more advanced system. So that's a nice thing to have. Along with that technology, we are adding many security cams that will have much better quality, much better surveillance, and also that's going to be controlled not on the outside, but have the ability to control those surveillance cameras within the district. So that's what's going on with technology. I also went to the New Jersey School Boards Association Delegate Assembly. There was a lot of things going on there. First, they wanted us to come back and let everyone know that there will be no dues increase this year for any board because they're continuing to be able to find money from other places and sponsorships, including some large corporate sponsors. Draw your own judgments there. That will be involved with New Jersey school boards. They also wanted us to mention that they've expanded the grant support system for grant writing. There's over 3,200 opportunities for grants. They mentioned that they are continuing to study pension reform at the NJSBA, and they are vehemently against the pension reform. They spoke about the School Ethics Commission rulings that we had learned about at our last workshop at Maggiano's, and they said that they, quote, gone too far, that they have definitely crossed the line, and they are working also, hard to make sure that some of those decisions can be either overturned, and they are starting to work with legislators, so legislators can begin to create law that could stop some of what, to stop the madness, because for all of us who have heard that was madness. Let's see. I know this was also in the news. They talked about the CSA cap. I'm sorry, Mr. Watson. They have exclaimed that will definitely be vetoed. And sorry. So, but that's what they said. They want everyone to also go on YouTube. That they have Education Matters videos where they have interviewed a lot of the legislators and higher-ranking politicians in New Jersey. And if you really want to know what they're thinking, they were interviewed by NJSBA. If you want to see what they're thinking and what's going on there, go take a look on there. I have one more tech thing I forgot to mention. There is we talked about at one point we're going to have to talk about, or I would like to talk about putting in $4,000 or $5,000 where they can have the ability to do more, to put more video on our website, not necessarily for meetings, but to also be able to produce and broadcast lots of things that are going on in the district. I believe that was it. That is it for those two committees, except one major thing that happened. There was a long vote and a long conversation about an issue they brought up about a lame duck board. The vote went down 51 to 49 to not oppose to allowing a board member to be seated right after 2 weeks after the election. There was a lot of back and forth on that. Our Fair Lawn vote, and I'm going to talk about, maybe we should discuss these things before a delegate goes in to make these votes, because I was kind of shooting from where I thought we would vote for it. I did oppose it because my feeling was that transition period, it was really necessary for board members to acclimate and adjust. Reflecting on my personal experience, I needed that time to talk to, especially to Bruce and Joanne, and be able to have that time to understand what the job really is. And also, their specific issue was they weren't able to hire a superintendent during those 6 weeks. But most likely, they wouldn't be able to have been able to vote on that superintendent anyway because they weren't there. They said they were there at all the board meetings, but all those conversations were behind closed doors anyway and were private. So to me, it was all moot anyway. So I hope you're okay with that. I do think maybe in the future when those things come to us, maybe there should be a board discussion so we can decide what the board feels, how we want to vote.
Do you get advance notice of what you're going to be voting on when you go down there? Because if you don't, how can we talk about it?
Well, a lot of boards were saying, like, we talked, but when people went to speak, they're like, well, I discussed this with the board, we discussed with our board, and this is how we want to vote. Yeah. So somehow that they had.
But where does it come from? Because,
Yeah.
because I'm our rep, and I didn't get anything special.
It was in, you should follow, because they did spoke.
I believe in the past, the New Jersey school boards would send out the resolutions that were going to be voted.
Okay, I didn't see that for the, you know, it was always John before me, so.
It was in this book that they gave you, they sent to people.
Right, and I never
Okay.
did that.
Well,
maybe you can get in touch with Al, set it up so that we do get advance notice and that we can discuss what's going to be voted on so that the delegate knows how to vote as far as our board is concerned, because our voice is important.
Right. It also probably would have been moved because it would also have to go past the legislator too. So I think what really, most of the speaking was for eliminating the lame duck, most of the speakers, except for just a couple. But then they were like, it has to go in front of the legislator anyway, and the legislator's probably not going to pass this. So then I think most people kind of changed their mind. That's how it seemed. Quick other note, just wanted to thank Mary for that work. I know that, you know, Mary, you pulled most of the weight on that. You know, you put that together, so thank you very much. But it was definitely a pleasure working with you. And I do appreciate that Ms. Quackenbush had also agreed to put in the co-curriculars along with the athletics, so those students are represented, so thank you to her and the board. And finally, I just want to mention, I was remiss when I was giving my little speech last time about my tennis court. I just want to mention that I know that the reason was for working with, not only with shared service, but also to have tournaments played in Fairlawn, because we need more than 4 courts. I do want to mention that we already do have places in town that have 6 courts, so adding another court for the purpose of tournaments, I think, is redundant to the taxpayer in town, and perhaps that we may want to rethink spending that money, because we have the place, we already have the facilities in town for tournaments. There's no need to build another one when we could certainly use that $100 grand plus to for other things that we want to either do immediately or to save up for. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Any other board comments, Mike?
I have a couple of things. First of all, shared services did not meet as we were, the meeting was canceled last month, partly because of a lack of agenda items, but some things have to be worked out between us and the borough, and the borough was hedging on a couple of things. One thing that did get done, though, was the interlocal agreement for the swap of, or for the lease of the land that new tennis courts are going to go on. When we talked about it in shared services, I just want everyone to know, the town really wanted the tennis court also because of the lack of space. The tennis courts apparently that are in town already are already well used, and that's why they gave us the room. They gave us the land to do it on. So there was talk back and forth in the Shared Services Committee about that. And I'm happy for one that is going through. I want to thank Jeff for going to the delegate assembly.
My pleasure.
My granddaughter's turned 1, and I think I would have been in trouble if I didn't go. The last thing I want to do is I want to congratulate, it's a shame because everyone leaves right after the thing. I want to, as an educator myself, I know what goes into getting that award, and the 25-year teachers to stay in the district for 25 years and to still be teaching. Mr. DeBlock, who is teaching after 40 years, and is retiring. So congratulations to all those because it was very, very well deserved.
Any other board comments, Ron?
I just want to bring everybody's attention that the sewer project is complete, and after starting out with a $250,000 budget, we went to $66,000. But thanks to John Yops, because there was a few snags hidden between the project. We got it down to the whole job was done completed for $46,000. It went well, and it's officially everything's flowing properly. So now it's a big savings for what we would have to do in school. So.
Yeah, the Community Relations Committee met. A couple of things we discussed. Apparently, Fairlawn TV really wants to televise our football games. So after the meeting, Jim, I'm going to talk to Jim and see what we can do about it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, after the meeting, I'll talk to Jim about what to do about
Also, I was reading it.
putting Fairlawn football games on Fairlawn TV. Fairlawn TV wants to put our games on TV. So I'll talk to you about what we have to do. Not live, I don't think. But
We had some discussions.
yeah, but we came up in community relations that they're looking for stuff. So I'll talk to you about it after the meeting.
That's all.
All right. It came up, and I forgot, we talked about televising the education committee meetings. I think we did one. We sent it over to Fairlawn TV. It got lost. We sent it again, and it just kind of fell by the wayside. And I think everybody agreed that it's one of the best meetings that we have as far as informing the community what kind of programs you offer, what the kids are doing, what test scores are like. And what I'd like to see for the next education committee meeting, and the committee would like to see it, is that we have the same camera set up so that we can have that televised. And then Natalie or whoever can get it over to them, make sure we have an extra copy in case it gets lost again. But I think we'd like to do that.
We have it set up for you.
Okay, all right, that's great. We have another, June 1st, I think.
June
is
1st.
Okay. We also talked about moving the camera. We're not having a presentation to the other side so that people don't see the back of Jeff's head. No, but really, this way it's, you know, every other meeting, if there's no presentation, just move the camera over there so that way, you know, everybody gets to see the lovely people on this side of the table for once. So I think that we can do that. What? That's right, somebody on that side has to turn it on, Natalie or Mike or somebody, I'm sure, figure out how to figure it out. What do you call it, the street fair.
Yes.
Street fair. It is not this Sunday, next Sunday. We need to put together a schedule of who's going to be there. I will talk to Lisa about getting the table and the canopy. I'll put it in my van. I'll bring it in the morning, but maybe after the meeting we'll figure out a schedule who's going to come. It's from what, 10 to 5? All right, so you know, figure out who's going to be there. I'd like to have at least 2 or 3 people. I don't want, you know, one person sitting there by themselves. And I think last time we had a pretty good turnout. At one point we had like a lot of people that were there, so we'll figure out a schedule for that. The final thing is Memorial Day Parade. We don't have any transportation as of right now. I talked to the mayor, and I asked him about a fire engine, and he said, nope, that's like asking somebody if you can borrow their kid from the fire department. They just won't do it. This is my only thought, is that we just go in our own cars, and let's get a couple of cars. They don't have to be convertibles. You see lots of people in car clubs. What?
We could do my car again.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's 6 of us going, was my recollection. Who's going? 5, and Elise, 6.
I'll be there, but not on.
No, I know, you march with the kids. Yeah, we need the signs, and then I'll have to, we'll talk after the meeting who wants to drive what car. Because I don't want to put 4 or 6 people in one car. You know, put one person in the passenger seat, one person in the driver's seat.
Look like the circus.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that, we'll figure out those calculations later. That's about it. There's a couple other things, but this is a long meeting, so we'll talk about the rest later.
Any other, Mark?
Yep, I just wanted to make a few comments. May is really a board meeting that I look forward to. And I look forward to it because of all the awards and all the recognition that's being given to not only our staff, but also to the students in the community. And I have to say that we really do, as Bruce commented before, have a vibrant music department that we can be proud of. And it's certainly with the parents who are giving the encouragement, taking them from place to place, that makes this program so good, as well as the staff who's teaching them. That's the first comment. The other one is for the recognition that's being given to our staff members for the 25 years. It's hard really to think about somebody working in the field of education for that long period of time. I've had friends that in 25 years have had 6 different jobs, I mean, in various areas. But to be in education for 25 years is a very, very difficult task. And I know that because I was in education myself. For those that are not in education, I don't think that they really appreciate that much what a teacher actually, or a member of the education community really does. So I want to give my congratulations to those people who attained that 25-year distinction. And for the other ones, for the governor's awards that were given out, if you listen to all the characteristics and all the traits that they commented on regarding these individuals, you'll know why not only that they're doing such a superb job, but why our students are succeeding in the manner that they are doing. And obviously, I contribute this to the administration as well as to the central office who have selected these people, but also, as I said, the administration that have nurtured them and guided them to be who they are. So I just wanted to compliment all the staff at this time and all our students within the district. Thank you.
I agree with what Mark was saying, but I also wanted to, what Bruce said, I want to really congratulate Joanne on 25 years, and I got to tell you something, I work with a lot of people, a lot of organizations, and she is a consummate professional. The job that she has to do, all BAs, but what she has to do in this district, and before I was on the board, when I was on the board, now I'm back on the board, seeing what you do day in, day out, because you don't, like Bruce said, you don't deal with just numbers for one area, you deal with numbers for this entire district. So for some person to do that on a day in, day out basis with your team and everybody, but I want to personally thank you for what you do for the school district, because I don't think that many people sometimes realize what you truly do every year, because they think once the budget's done, well, okay, she got about 2 months. No, they don't realize the next day we're starting all over again. So I want to just personally thank you. That it's a joy and an honor to work with you every day.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other board comments? Okay, there are no comments from the superintendent this evening, so we are going to. Get that camera. There are no comments from the superintendent.
Where's the power?
You all just got a half hour more sleep.
We are,
We love you.
we're going to start on the agenda. Mark, would you like to read the S1?
Resolution regarding the retirement of Joanne Tashjian, effective June 30, 2015. Whereas Ms. Joanne Tashjian, a dedicated conscientious English teacher at Memorial Middle School, employed in the district since 2004, has requested retirement at the end of the day on June 30, 2015. And whereas Ms. Tashjian has with warmth and dedication inculcated young minds with the English skills demanded by the needs of our modern society. And whereas Ms. Tashjian performed diligently above and beyond her classroom duties to involve students in numerous activities related to their individual growth and development, as well as broadening their understanding and appreciation of the English curriculum. Therefore, be it further resolved that the Board of Education extends its sincere appreciation for the many years of service rendered by Ms. Joanne Tashjian and wishes for her good health and happiness in her retirement. And be it further resolved that the Secretary of the Board of Education be directed to spread this resolution in full upon the minutes, and that the Superintendent of Schools dispatch a copy of the resolution to Ms. Joanne Tashjian.
Thanks, Mark. Can I have a motion to approve S1?
So moved.
Board comment?
Mary, well, I want to congratulate Joanne, and I do want to say a word about the fact that English teachers have one of the hardest jobs going, not just because of the endless essays, not just because students don't always see immediately the connection of Shakespeare to their lives, but mostly because every year 120 students will come into the room and say, oh, I hate English, it's the subject I hate most. So a big part of an English teacher's work is getting students to come to a point where they can at least appreciate. As we said the other night, the science and math and all of these subjects are so important to our society, but literature is the soul of our society. So I really wish her, she deserves a retirement, and she deserves a happy, prosperous, and restful retirement. So good luck to her.
Thank you, Mary. Any other comments from the board? Comments from the public on S1? Seeing none, can I get a voice vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Did you want to say something?
I always want to say something, because you
I'm
forgot.
sorry, I did forget you.
After all of what's gone on tonight, you forgot
Am
all
I,
to say.
he's allowed to talk even after we took the voice vote?
I just.
You're allowed to talk.
Thank you very much. Okay. I just wanted to comment. I want to extend Mary's comment and say that, you know, it's, Mary's point is well taken. What I have seen, and Joanne has been a leader in this area from Memorial School, it's really adding to that is literacy. If we're going to be successful as an individual, literacy is probably the most important part of your learning experience. To be able to read, to be able to write, to be able to create, to be able to listen, and to be able to get up and speak in front of people. That's all literacy. Those are the skills that our teachers teach besides the novels and the plays, which are very important. I agree with Mary, very important, culture and history, etc. So I want to compliment Jo, and she's done that exceptionally well at Memorial, as most any English teacher, language arts teacher today is focused on that very important part of building literacy, for a literate child into a literate adult. And if you look around, the people who are most successful can articulate, they can speak, they can get their thoughts out and convince other people to listen to them, et cetera, et cetera. That's all part of literacy, and that's very important. She was very good at that. So I wish her the very best. And I'm very happy that she spent years with us.
Thank you.
Okay, forgive me.
S2, payment authorization for superintendent's merit. S3, payment authorization for superintendent's merit. E1, attendance at conference, convention, workshop. E2, approval of extracurricular trips. E3, approval of student teachers, interns, practicum, field observation placement. E4, approval of textbook adoption. E5, approval of bedside home instruction. E6, approval of 2014-15 after-school workshop. E7, approval of 15-16 summer workshops. E8, approval of Title I funds tutoring. P1, approval of schedule of rates for hourly employee substitutes, 15-16 school year. P2, approval of certificated day-to-day substitutes and bedside home instruction personnel, 2014-15 school year. P3, resignation of non-certificated personnel. P4, approval of retirement non-certificated personnel. P5, approval of leave of absence without pay, non-certificated personnel. P6, appointment of summer school director, summer 2015. P7, appointment of community school personnel, summer 2015. P8, approval of appointment of certificated personnel, 15-16 school year. P9, approval of appointment of long-term substitutes under contract, certificated personnel. P10, approval to withhold increment custodial personnel, 2015-16 fiscal year. P11, reappointment of part-time non-certificated community school personnel. P12, approval of change in assignment certificated personnel. P13, approval of leave of absence without pay child rearing non-certificated personnel, 14-15 school year. P14, approval of selectees, Governor's Educator of the Year program. P15, approval of leave of absence without pay child rearing certificated personnel. P16, return of certificated personnel from child rearing leave, 15-16 school year. P17, approval of leave of absence without pay child rearing certificated personnel. P18, ratification of Fairlawn Administrative and Supervisory Association agreement. SE1, accept the 2015 extended school year staff and payroll for the following dates. SE2, approval of required related services for classified students for the 14-15 school year. Can I have a motion to approve S2 through SE2?
So moved. Second.
Comments from the board? Ron?
On P9, are they still long-term substitutes, or are they being converted to regular people?
They're still long-term.
Okay.
Any other, Jeff?
First of all, I have to ask you, with regard to P18, how much Am I allowed to give my specific objections to that?
Yes.
Okay. I know we took a big step with what we've done with the guide, and I don't want this to be any reflection of how I feel about the administration and their hard work and dedication to our children, but I can't stomach the starting salaries. They're just too high for my conscience to vote yes on it, and I think that we really need to take a good look at, while we want to pay competitive salaries countywide, those levels of those salaries are very high, and it's not that our people aren't worth it. The fact is that, you know, we take a lot from the people in this town, and I think there just needs to be a line drawn, and if we're going to be challenging to other groups of personnel, I think that that challenge to lower our costs should start with this. Again, to me, it comes across as exorbitant, and again, it's not a reflection of them or their hard work, but I still believe strongly we'll get excellent people at lower salaries, especially, you know, the way the economy is still in New Jersey and in Fair Lawn. This doesn't feel right. I appreciate the work that everyone has done to create this agreement with them on both sides, but again, can't stomach it.
Any other comments? Yes, Cindy. I asked Paul. I asked Paul again publicly. Am I permitted to explain what the administration did here? Because I think that the public, having heard what Jeff said, should hear the positive side to what he said. And that is that this group agreed to a new salary guide. That new salary guide is lowering the starting salaries, and from then on, lowering by approximately $7,000 at each step. And so, right, for new employees. So this was a big step for the administrators to take. We'll save the school district money as we move forward to hire new teachers and new administrators. And we understand Jeff's point, but I did think that it needed to be clarified for the public exactly, you know, what did occur now that everything is all, you know, finished. So I personally think that was a major step for the supervisor administrators bargaining unit to do that. And I personally am happy. That's all.
Can I make this one point of information? Just please also keep in mind, and I again appreciate that they did that, I understand, but I also understand that with respect to the administrators who negotiated, they're not they didn't give up anything. So there was nothing, there was really no skin off their backs, so to speak. They negotiated a lower salary for people who are coming in later, not for themselves. So, again, thanks for hearing me out. That's all.
Having negotiated this district for 20 some odd years, I have to say that to even get that from the administrators is a tremendous feather in our cap. I mean, I think it's a little bit of a slap at the administrators, say it's no skin off their back. It's their members coming up. We did not directly take any money out of anybody's pocket. No, we did not. But I've never seen that happen in 22 years of doing this. I've never seen it happen in any other district. So to think that that was even a possibility is somewhat naive. And I think it was tremendous achievement by the negotiating committee. And I think that we should be thankful to administrators for doing this, because Lord knows they didn't have to. Something we wanted, sure, we would have liked more, but it's a negotiation. You know, it takes two to tango. And we can't just walk in and by fiat say, your new salary is this. So it's a great achievement over the years, and I'm a long-term thinker. I'm not thinking about what happens next year, the year after, necessarily over time. But 10 years from now, 12 years from now, when we're not here anymore, maybe some of us will be, some of us won't be. But that guide is going to save us hundreds of thousands of dollars over the next 20 years. So to just kind of poo-poo that, I think, is wrong. And I respect your opinion, Jeff. I understand you feel strongly about it, but I just don't think, realistically speaking, that we could have done any better.
I'm just gonna, I'll go to you in a second. I just wanted to piggyback on what Dean said. I don't think that there's any other district that has been able to do that. I appreciate what the administrators did. The people that are coming in on this new guide are going to be working with the current administrators, and together as a team, they are going to be able to function as one unit, even though they are going to be on two separate guides. And I have to agree with Jean that later on down the line, when there are no current administrators on that guide, we are saving ourselves a lot. This district is going to be saving a lot of money, and for them to have come across the table to be able to talk and negotiate, that's what it's all about. And I really think that it was a big give for the administrators to do that, and I'm very happy with the settlement. Mike?
I just, you know, in the last, I forget how many years has it been since the healthcare and all that stuff came into being? And the 5 years. So for the past 5 years, our employees have paid more and more, including, especially the administrators, because they do make more money. Have a percentage of their salary, or a percentage of their health care that they have to pay into for, and everybody in education has been taking home a lot less money than before all these reforms have been enacted. To say that it wasn't a big give for the administrators to let that other salary guide go in, it was, because they're all paying a lot more money. And I can't agree with you. The other reason I can't agree with you is because we sat around the table, we talked about it, we all agreed on it, and now all of a sudden there's disagreement in public. And
No.
we did. We
didn't.
No dialogue here.
No, but if this can be a false statement, we should get to rebut that, though.
Okay. Jeff?
We agreed on the separate salary line. We never agreed on the number, and it's the number that I'm upset with. I keep in mind that, like, am I allowed to say the number? Yeah. $135,000 for a starting salary in an elementary school is a lot of money. I don't think that the people of this town are going to be feeling sorry for anyone because they're paying for their health insurance. I'm paying for my health insurance too. I am part of that new group. I don't think anyone's going to feel sorry for someone making $135,000 and now that has to pay for their benefits. I think it's a lot of money. And you know, I appreciate that you disagree with me. I do appreciate that this is a big step for us. But again, I think that that number is just, it's eye-popping.
Okay, any other comments? We're still going on comments on what, on S2 to SE. Right.
SE2.
Okay. Any other comments from the board? Comments from the public on the agenda items that we're voting on? Seeing none, roll call.
Mr. Barbarulo?
Yes.
Mrs. Piella?
Yes.
Mr. Spindell?
Yes.
Mr. Banta?
Yes.
Mrs. Wallace?
Yes.
Mr. Rosenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Klein?
Yes, no on P18.
Ms. Clark?
Yes. Okay, moving on the agenda, F1, school use. F2, acceptance of gifts. F3, bills payable payroll. F4, bills payable. F5, transfers, May 2015. F6, board secretary report, April 2015. F7, board treasurer's report, April 2015. F8, approval for Land Associates to update the long-range facility plan. F9, Fair Lawn Junior Police Academy. F10, approval of student information system contract with Real-Time Information Technology, Inc. R1, approval of 2015-16 district tax payment schedule. R2, appointment of board secretary. R3, appointment of custodian record officer, Oprah. R4, appointment of integrated pest management coordinator. R5, appointment of right to know officer. R6, appointment of chemical and hygiene officer. R7, appointment of 504 officer. R8, professional appointments. R9, naming of official local newspapers. R10, authorization to disperse funds for Social Security, health, and dental benefits. R11, readoption of policy and regulation manual. R12, approval of standard operating procedure manual. R13, payroll authorization. R14, naming of depositories of Board of Education funds. R15, membership in New Jersey School Boards Association, Bergen County School Boards Association. R16, appointment of representative requesting federal and state funds. R17, designation of claims auditor, prepayment authority, amended 18A, colon 19-1, comma 2 and 4. R18, chart of accounts. R19, approval of officer for bidding and purchasing. R20, approval of Concentra Medical Center, sorry about that. R21, approval to appoint a public agency compliance officer. R22, maximum travel expenditures. R23, maximum professional expenditures. R24, educational data services. R25, approval to submit 2015-16 application for toilet room facilities for early intervention, pre-kindergarten, and kindergarten classrooms. R26, approval to submit the 15-16 application for toilet room facilities for preschool program. R27, approval of ASAP, Messenger Service Inc. R28, state contract vendors. R29, impress petty cash funds authorization. R30, approval of district job descriptions 15-16. R31, resolution to approve special education Medicaid initiative. R32, approval to participate in the New Jersey State Interscholastic Athletic Association. R33, usage of Memorial Pool. R34, community school behind the wheel program. R35, approval of RFP, custodial and management services. R36, approval of Advocate, school support solutions proposal for ongoing contract monitoring of custodial services. R37, approval to renew the athletic transportation contract for 15-16 school year. R38, approval of Energy for America Incorporated. R39, approval to award an extraordinary unspecifiable services contract to Phoenix Advisors LLC for financial advisor services. R40, approval of an educational services agreement between the Fair Lawn Board of Education and Source for Teachers to provide substitute teaching services. And that is all. May I have a motion to approve F1, through R40.
So moved. Second.
Comments from the board? I would like to make one comment. I'm going to go first and then I'll go on you. I'd like to recognize the gift, F2B, the installation of display case in the value of $3,900 from the Fair Lawn High School Athletic Hall of Fame Committee. I sit as representative on the Fair Lawn Athletic Hall of Fame Committee, and this was a youth donation by one of our classes, football team, I believe, Kathy?
It was a combination of a lot, but one of of our football teams, the other 1959 football team.
And it's going to be installed in our Hall of Fame hall, and I'm really looking forward to that, and I thank the Hall of Fame for all of their hard work in getting this to fruition. Mike?
Just in F1, a couple of things. You know, in school use, you're going to see a lot of things over the summer where that's part of shared services between the borough and the Board of Ed, using for the camps and stuff like that. A couple of years back, we made an agreement for our camps to be able to use the pool without being charged, and that was huge because before that we were being charged a good sum of money for how much? Yeah, for using the pools. So this is just another sign again of the cooperation between the borough and the Board of Ed, and I'd love to see it. And the other thing is for the marathoners, good luck. It's a tremendous tradition in Fairlawn for the marathon to go on, and good luck next week. Support the marathon.
Next Friday.
What?
Next Friday.
Yeah.
But it's not going on until 2015, like it says in the minutes. I know it's a marathon, but it's not that long.
I remember my marathon well.
A lot of people do. That's why it's a nice tradition. People are.
Any other comments from the board on these motions? Any other? Seeing none?
I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Ron.
I just have a question on the temporary facilities for preschool and stuff, the reason for
The
that.
toilet facilities?
Yeah. No, I'm saying is it because of bathrooms or?
They're not in the classrooms. They have to be
Okay.
in the-
They have to be in the classroom. Okay. Thank you.
Comments from the public on those items? I recognize you, and then you can be next. Hi.
Hi, good evening. My name is Kelly Sullivan. I'm a fourth grader at Radburn, a seventh grader at TJ, and a junior in high school. My comment is on R40. I'm disheartened and dismayed that you're choosing to sign another contract with Source for Teachers. And I'd like to know what your criteria was, or your process was, to evaluate this company. And if you determined, was it really beneficial to outsource our subs and to continue to use this company? I sincerely hope that it wasn't about money, the bottom line, the almighty dollar. I would hope that you surveyed the teachers to assess their usage of the system, to see if it was user-friendly, to see if they received all the support that they needed, and to see if they were successful in securing the subs that they really wanted in their classrooms. Number two, I would hope that you had surveyed the building principals to make sure that the subs that were being sent in to work with our students were highly qualified professionals. Number three, I would hope that you would speak with our very own paraprofessionals who spend their days with these subs and see them at their best and at their worst. Number four, I would love for you to speak with some of our very own students on their experiences when they have a sub in their classrooms. My concerns are very legitimate, they're very serious, and they're shared by many subs in the district, teachers in the district, and parents in the district. I'm going to share with you a very few examples. The list is really long. Number one, my own fourth grader came home from school on a day he had a sub. He told me he couldn't understand her because she didn't speak English. Number two, I've witnessed principals pull ancillary teachers to babysit, to help out a sub, which means that the students who need that small group support and instruction will miss it for that day. Number three, I personally know of principals who've escorted subs out of the building or asked them to leave because they were of such low quality they didn't deserve to be there, or they actually fell asleep sitting at the teacher's desk. Number four, I have personally been a sub in this district for 6 years. I've been a daily sub, and I've been a long-term sub. And I've never had such a hard time securing work for myself. And many teachers who I've known for 6 years have placed me on their Source for Teachers preferred sub list. But when they are requesting me, the Source for Teachers program only allows that job to be on that website for a very short period of time. I would literally have to check the computer every 30 to 60 minutes in order to get all the jobs that I have been requested for this school year. However, when I'm teaching in a classroom, I can't continually get back to the computer because I'm teaching. I've had teachers email me, text me, and call me at home right before they're going to post a job specifically for me because they want me in their classroom, just to make sure that I'm available to sit down at the computer and wait for the job to pop up. Refresh, refresh, refresh. It shouldn't be that difficult for teachers to get the highly qualified subs that they personally want in their classrooms to be with their students. Number 5, a fellow sub who's worked in the district far longer than me called Source for Teachers for guidance and support because she was concerned about many of the things that I've personally mentioned this evening. She was told by a manager that you subs are a dime or a dozen, so you can quit if you don't like it. And I'm wondering if that's reflective of how this Board of Education feels about the substitutes that are hired to work with our students. I raise all these questions because I'm truly concerned about who works with our students. It's not about me and my part-time job. It's about our students. I don't believe that you're informed, and I don't believe that you understand what's actually happening on a day-to-day basis in our buildings. Our children deserve better, and it's your job to provide it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Mike?
Lisa, what control do we have over the subs as far as the ones that are being brought into our building?
We can screen and we can pick whoever we
Do we?
want.
We can ban them.
And we have.
I want to know from her comments that are so negative, what evaluation system are we using to really select this particular company? And were there other companies that we could have selected as well?
Lisa?
Yeah, there were 3 companies that we looked at originally, and this is the first year with them, so we really haven't done a full evaluation. But there were
This is
3
the-
that we used.
This is the
in
first year that you've had them, but you haven't done an evaluation to see whether or not they should have been rehired for the following year?
No, we have, and I mean, all the feedback that we're getting is positive.
And the feedback is coming from whom?
It's coming from principals, it's coming from staff, it's coming from teachers, so. I mean, I understand there are negative reviews also, but most are positive.
What is the cost difference or the cost savings by using Source for Teachers as opposed to other companies who are opposed to not outsourcing at all?
Well, the idea was to save quite a, couple $100,000. We just have to see the whole year to see what it actually comes out to be.
It saves that much money. But is there, I'm hearing that, we haven't heard anything negative at the board. I mean, that you haven't heard anything negative at the administration level.
More positive than negative.
So there has been some negativity.
Yeah, I mean, that happened with substitutes in our district or anywhere.
Yeah, let me make some comments, first of all. This board was well informed all along the way about this process. I'm kind of surprised some of you have forgotten some of the things we discussed as we went through this. We started looking at this at a pure concern of cost of what we're paying substitutes to step in and fill in this district. We know, and we sat and we looked at the Obamacare health plan and what the impact would be long-term for this district. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars that this employer will have to be held responsible for if you maintain the old style of keeping your own subs. Kelly shared with us about people not being happy, they've been escorted out of the building, they haven't done. That's been going on with subs for the last 40 years. That doesn't just happen because we went to this company. I've been here a long time. We've banned people from subs that we've hired. We've walked them out of the building. We've escorted them out. I've had police bring them out because they go under the same background checks, the same certification checks as every sub we hire. Now, do we have total control? I would say no, we don't have total control. But if we have a sub that we want in a particular area, I can hire that sub. I don't have to go through source for teachers. We still have that flexibility. But we're talking here because somebody brought up some negatives about this, that all of a sudden we don't remember the process. We together made this decision. Okay, it was an informed decision. So I think we have to relook at this before it gets in the press that all of a sudden we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing. That's wrong. That's absolutely wrong. We looked at this, we looked at 3 companies, we shared everything with this board. We looked at the long-term costs that are going to come out of this if we don't take action to save this district financially. Am I right? We talked about this. We went through this. And we talked about what the Obama Health Care Act was going to do to us. Where do you want to put your money? That was the question. How can we save money? We're always looking to save money. So if you want to talk about criteria, please make an appointment with Mrs. Panagia, and we can give you the criteria. We'll go over all of that. But if you think that all of these problems started this year with subs, you're sadly mistaken. We've had some terrible subs in this district, and so does every other district because of the nature of the beast. Teachers decide, I'm going to be sick, or I'm going to take my personal days, and all of a sudden we get inundated in the month of May is a law, and June, right? That's a big one. Middle holiday season, that's a big one too. Where do you get these people? You have to go out and try to recruit people to come in subs so you can hold classes. Otherwise, we're putting 4 classes together in the gym and everything else. This was a plan. We said we're going to try this. We went out, we're doing it. Now, we've got to give this some time. You can't just make a decision on this because somebody complains. Of course it's not going to be smooth. What other plan runs 100% smooth? But we're saving money. We're looking at the employer cost. And that's what we said. We shared this. This lady did a great job. She did a great job bringing this to the board.
Bruce, I was not questioning the outsourcing and the saving of the money. I'm just questioning the particular firm or company that we've chosen as to the other 2 that may have been better than what we've had. That's where my comments came from.
In all due respect, I was just questioning one thing. I'm not questioning the point that we outsource the subs. I understand as well as anyone else what subs are all about.
Ron.
I just want to know, I wasn't, you guys discussed this before, I was back and forth. Correct.
This was about a year
No,
ago.
I'm just saying, so, before I was, thank you.
I think Lisa put it pretty well. It's been more positive than negative. I don't know how many substitutes we have a day, but I'm sure it's a lot since we have 4 and some teachers. So you're going to have issues. There's going to be substitutes who aren't up to stuff. There are going to be favored substitutes who aren't going to get picked. There are substitutes who you don't want. Maybe they're going to take your class because there's nobody else. I don't disbelieve what was said here, that there's complaints. But if Bruce and Lisa telling me that the overall picture from the principals who would be in the building, who would know, has been a positive one for the most part, I don't see any reason at this point to, make a big question out of it. I mean, I'm sure that Lisa and Bruce will continue to monitor it. If there is a question, if there is a problem with this particular outsourcing, with this particular sub substitute service, then let us know. We had another service before. We looked at this one and they liked it better. Not everybody's gonna be happy. I know a particular person who wants to be a substitute in this district and can't do it because they've had a bad experience and they were told you can't be a substitute here anymore. So and they came to me and said, what do I do about it? I said, there's nothing I can do about it, there's nothing you can do about it. That's it. You're not coming back. And it was before this. That was before this sort. So, it happens in every district. It happens, substitutes, they live on the edge, I guess, because, you don't know from day to day if you're working the next day. And I don't see any reason not to vote for it.
Any other comments from the board? Oh, I'm so sorry. I have to take gentlemen first.
Craig Miller, 5 Armco Terrace. I want to speak about with the marathon, being a former graduate of 85. And it's just my opinion of the marathon lately. When I was in school, it used to be Memorial Day weekend, where you came Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. This parking lot out here was packed. You saw the alumni from other classes that you may have not met from previous years. I'm finding when the marathon on the weekend, other than that, by Saturday night when I drive here, place is a ghost town. To me, that's not a marathon. To me, that's after school to Saturday afternoon, and that's it. A marathon is a long period of time. I agree it's a great cause. I support it. I don't know if it's the time between, I don't know if there's teachers or anybody staff that's paid for this, but I find it troubling coming here on a Saturday night or a Sunday afternoon and seeing nobody here, where Memorial Day weekend is packed. I know you moved it to Memorial School and moved it back. I don't want to take anything away from the kids or the staff. I think it's a great tradition. I hope it continues. But a day and a half, to me, is not enough. Thanks.
I just wanted to respond to what you were saying, because before being on the board, going to PTO, especially high school PTO, there was a time where marathon was in jeopardy of just dying. And the students in the school did not want that to happen. There was a lot of lack of wanting to do anything. It fell on a minute amount of parents trying to put this whole entire big event away, but they firmly believed in the tradition of marathon. Unfortunately, things change. Everybody's busy. They don't have the time that they used to. There's just a million things to do. But the fact that the students and the parents in the high school were able to save that marathon from going down the drain, I think they should be given big accolades. It may not be what it was back in the 80s or back in the 70s, but a lot of things aren't. The fact that we still have marathon in this district, I think, is really something that we should be proud of. Is it scaled down? I guess so. I'm not really involved in it, but I know that for 2 or 3 years up there, it was very, very questionable as to whether or not the marathon was even going to be. Go ahead.
Oh, Mr. Miller, I have to agree that I share your sentiments, class of '88. Just a little history. It was 1988 when the Lions Club took over. A man named Larry Schweid. He took over, and that year, as I recall, we put in about $25,000, which is the kind of money that the marathon was making back then. So I understand that you see the difference. Please understand that a lot of the laws have also changed. I remember also in our year, we couldn't do like half the fun things that like the classes before us used to do. We still did some of the crazier stuff, for money, like, Jeff's going to, and this is a true story, Jeff is going to play this, do this at in his underwear. If I can get $20 in the can, and that would happen. And then like, I had my leg shaved on the pitcher's mound, like crazy stuff like that. I don't know. I think that's kind of the rules and the way schools run and what we find acceptable. A lot of those things went away, and I think that the flavor of the marathon has changed a little bit because of what's acceptable publicly and what's not acceptable publicly. Please do understand that in my many conversations with Mr. Watson, our students really do a lot of other types of community service that they didn't do in the 80s. So I really don't think it's a sense of a lackadaisical generation. I think that the community service and the money is spread out amongst many different things. When it used to be marathon, that was the weekend. And again, I agree, it's a shame, because I love marathon weekend. It's something we really, that was like the premier event up there with the prom. But please do understand that the generation and these high school students also do a lot of other community service and put money into other things. It's spread out over so many different activities now and throughout the year.
And I do, and quickly, and I do understand things change, but you know, with people working late hours, longer trips home from work, just speaking for myself, the only time I really can get here is a Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, Sunday. And to come here and not see anything, to me, it's disheartening.
Right. Well, if you come 3 o'clock on the 30th, you'll see the class of '88 alumni play. So if other classes want to get together and try to do what we did, you know, that would be helpful. I'm going to go yard at least
I
twice,
just had a
too.
question with the source for teacher. If it's possible to look into why the preferred list, because that was one of the big pluses. I'm a parent in the district also, was that you could pick who you wanted to sub for you. And I'm wondering if you could look into why that doesn't seem to be happening, because I know there have been other instances where you do get a good sub. I haven't had a negative experience this year, but I know subs I've requested for myself were not chosen. So is it possible to look into why? Because that was one of the big things when they told us about it, was that you can choose you'll get the ones you want, and that doesn't seem to be happening. Is it possible just to find out?
You can make an appointment with Lisa, she'll be glad to walk you through the process.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Barbarulo?
Yes, sir, I'm going to abstain on F40.
Mrs. Fiala?
Yes.
Mr. Spindell?
Yes. Staying on F40 as well.
Mr. Banta?
Yes.
Mrs. Wallace?
Yes on everything, no on R35.
Mr. Rosenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Klein?
Yeah.
Ms. Clark?
Yes.
The agenda is thinking. I'd like to open up for the portion of the meeting for public comments, to comment on anything outside the agenda, anything you want to talk about. Seeing no public comments, we're going to move on to old business. Any old business, Jeff?
I know that we said at the May meeting we were going to talk about the signage again. The signs on the football field and the gym and all that stuff for revenue for groups that have to pay money while other groups don't. I just want to know what happened to that conversation and when we're going to continue it. If not tonight, I was given a lot of policies by NJSBA that support the allowance to have these signs, and said that it's at our discretion for who we want to give it to and how the money is spent. So if we can't discuss that tonight, I'm imploring, because every day goes by, those parents are still putting out more money. that I would implore us to put it on the agenda of the next policy meeting so we can get a policy out there, so we can allow these people to use that space and create a source of revenue for their activities, for their children.
I'd like to, I thought that we had more or less came together as far as the, Joanne had done some research. We got some input from Paul on the advertising. Am I mistaken?
No.
That's correct. I had in my April 14th update, I reported on the results of what I did to canvass other districts regarding signs on fields. I didn't know where you wanted to go from there.
Mike?
Can I suggest that, first of all, we put it on a work session? Because there's a lot to discuss. Because I don't think we ever said, you had the idea of what to do with that money and to give it to the organizations. I don't think we ever discussed that as a board. So I think that's premature to say where the money's gonna go.
Let me just correct you on that, but we can't give it to the organization. Paul was pretty
Right.
clear, we can't give it to anybody. So-
Correct. No, I remember that.
Yeah, I mean,
But I
but
also,
again-
I think it needs to go on a work session so that we could hash it out around the table and before we, because then, even if we did decide to give it to be able to do it with certain groups, how do we choose which groups? So I think we really need to discuss this as a whole board at a work session.
Mary?
If we do decide to put it on a work session, and I'll explain in a minute, I think, Jeff, we all have to see that material. I mean, everybody's got to be privy to exactly what that material says. But I'm confused because I thought that we had reached a decision that we weren't, but I'm maybe wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
I don't
we
think
were
we
supposed
reached
to.
a-
We were supposed to come back and talk more, I guess.
I don't think we reached a no decision by the board, but I think Paul had given us his legal opinion. Joanne did her research, so maybe we should put it on an agenda, work session as an agenda item to put it to bed.
It's not something that should be discussed for the first time at a regularly scheduled public meeting. So and I think when we I think we probably meant the May work session.
Okay.
It's probably, and somehow it didn't get on it. So I do remember talking something like that, but I know it wasn't for the public meeting. It'll be an open work session, but it's not
Joanne,
what I
could
do
you just
tonight.
put that down as an agenda item for when we schedule our next work session?
It's in the fall. Our next work session is in the fall.
Okay. Any other old business? New business, before we set our meetings? I just have one item of new business, if I could just have the board's attention for a sec. Sandy sends out emails advising us when workshops come up, all kinds of things. I am asking that there be an email that comes from Sandy with a deadline for a response. If the board member, individual board member does not respond by that deadline, then it's that board member's responsibility to either take care of the issue on their own. Sandy just does not have the time to keep following up and going after the board member. So I'm just asking that, she's gonna give us the courtesy email to sign us up for anything that we wanna sign up for. She's gonna give a deadline, and if that deadline, if you don't sign up, then it's your responsibility to go on to New Jersey school boards and register yourself or take care of it. I just ask for your cooperation in that, because she's just getting bogged down with, she just can't keep it all straight to keep, Mark.
Can I also make a recommendation? Although email seems to be the way of communicating in today's day and age, when there's a matter of urgency, I suggest that, and this hasn't happened, I'm just saying in the future, I suggest that a phone call be made to the board members. For instance, if we're going to know tomorrow that there's a meeting that was scheduled and it's going to be held in another location or whatever, and as I've said, this hasn't happened for the future. A lot of times I will not, and maybe others will not be looking at their email 3, 4, 5 times a day to see that the meeting place has been changed. So I suggest that we make a phone call rather than just send out the email.
Yeah, sure.
Basically, what happens is I send out an email for something of urgency, and I make a phone call.
Well, I'm not saying it happened, I'm just saying in the future, it just came to my mind.
I do it in both, I do send an email, just some people communicate through emails more regularly, but just so you know, I would call.
Okay.
And most of the time, I try to sell and call. Just so I try to cover all bases. But as you said, we haven't had any, thank goodness,
Yeah.
recently, but that's how I was.
It just came to my mind what you were saying.
Okay, that's all the new business I have. Does anybody else have any new business? Okay, I'm gonna ask for a motion to, go into closed session. We have, closed session items. We will be coming back out of closed session to, vote on addendums and the, HIB. Oh, I'm sorry. It's late, sorry. Meetings. We have, June 1st is our education, committee meeting at 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock at Edison. Okay. June 4th is our public meeting. We have 2 public meetings in June.
11 and 22nd.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at the 4th on this thing. Forgive me. Would you please announce the public meetings? There's 2.
June 11th and June 22nd.
Okay. I apologize.
So June 11th is scheduled as the regular public meeting, and June 22nd would be a special.
Bruce, can we get a copy of moving up ceremony dates and
Yes.
that kind of stuff?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Can you repeat those days and times again, please?
You have June 1st for education at 7.
At Edison, right?
Correct. June 11th, the regular meeting at 7:30 in Edison. And June 22nd, the special action meeting, it's just our second June meeting at 7:30.
And June 15th.
What was June 4th?
No, that's
Not saying that was my
not-
error. I was looking at this
Okay.
calendar that I can't follow, and I saw 4.
I'll be a little late to the education meeting.
I won't be there.
It's like
I will not be at that.
I'll be a little late to the
That's expensive music there
So,
also.
yes, I'm gonna be.
What?
It's all me too.
I'm playing golf with that,
I just wanted to, remind everybody that the flea dinner is on May 28th.
I'll ask them again.
And, I believe that the sports award ceremony for the athletic committee is, June 8th at 7 o'clock. And the scholarship awards that are awarded for the high school is on June the 9th. I don't have the time on that.
So what time is the sports dinner?
The sports award ceremony is at 7 o'clock on June 8th. And June 9th is the high school scholarship awards, but I don't have a time on that. I have 6:30, but I'm not sure that's correct.
7.
Jim?
7.
7, okay. Thank you.
I will not be at the June 22nd meeting.
Mr. Marcelo, what did you say the time was?
I'm sorry.
7?
7 o'clock.
June
I'm
9th.
not sure the phone's working yet. Okay. Yeah, I'm traveling up to Maine now, and I'm not sure the phone's working. After that, I'll be at the meeting by phone.
Okay, I think I can now safely make a motion to zoom into closed session. We will be coming out so the public knows to vote on 2 addendums and all those in, I got a motion to recess.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Cindy, everyone